Welcome into Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And guys, we have an awesome show for you guys today. We are going to go through all the news and notes going around the NFL. Full opt-out list as of recording this. And then we are also...
On a Tuesday. There's going to be more.
Yeah, so there's going to be more. We are also going to have an extra bonus podcast that we're going to have that's just going to be on audio. We might put it on YouTube, but it's definitely going to be audio that will give you a full rundown on Thursday at 4 o'clock when the opt-out deadline hits. We're gonna go through that and do that. But that's just one thing we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about all the injuries and PUP lists, all that, everything going around the NFL. We're gonna touch on some college news that happened this week. Then we are gonna get into our fantasy football profile. We're gonna talk about a couple running backs this week, and then we have ACC, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna do a full breakdown of the ACC, and then at the very end, this is what I'm really excited about. We're doing our first mock draft of the year. All right. And it's going to be great. So on podcast, you're going to be able to listen to it. If you were listening on podcast and you just want to watch it on YouTube, we're going to have that clipped out for you guys. The full mock draft that we're going to have set up. You'll be able to see exactly what we're picking, exactly what we're doing, all that good stuff. But Jacob, before we get into all that, we have one thing to do.
What?
We have to give this away. We have to give this away.
We gave it away.
It's gone.
We know who the winner is.
We do know who the winner is. All right. So what we did was we put all the names into a program that just a randomizer program.
Yes.
Click start, and it was very little build up because it just went and then it was over. But yeah, we know the winner. Should we build it up or should I just?
The winner entered the max amount of times, 5 that you could.
Yeah.
He had some very good comments. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm glad he won.
Yeah, I was rooting for him. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, because we had a lot of great comments. We had a lot of great people that entered, and we do appreciate everybody. The person that entered was really smart because he entered on every single podcast on YouTube, and then he also entered on iTunes, and it was the iTunes one that won.
It's a numbers game, seriously.
Yeah. So official Ert, if you will message me on Twitter at Between Pylons or
that's Eric on YouTube.
Yeah. So if you'll message me, give me your address wherever you want this sent to. We're gonna send it to you for free, and that's yours to keep.
Saquon, there it is. Saquon. I hope you're a Giants fan. Actually, I hope you're a Cowboys fan. That'd be better.
Hey man, seriously, thank you so much. We really appreciate all your comments.
Thank all of you for going. We have another jersey that we will unveil next week. We'll be good to go.
Yeah. So again, but specifically to official or Eric, whatever your real name is, we really appreciate you. You have been awesome. You've given us a lot of great feedback, and we've really appreciated it.
Yes.
We appreciate everybody. We've really grown over the past 2-3 months. I feel like
exactly.
And we're really excited. All right, so we'll get on to the show.
Subscribe.
Yes, please subscribe, guys. That helps us out so much. If you'll subscribe on YouTube, if you'll give us the likes and everything on YouTube, if you'll go on the podcast app and hit the download every week button, that really helps us out. All those good things. Please help us out.
We talk football and give shit away. You can't beat that.
Yeah, football and giveaways. That's what we do here. All right, so we will start out with the opt-out. So if you're watching on YouTube, what I'm going to do is we're going to have it on the screen where you can see everybody. We're just going to talk about some of the big names here that you see, and I'll let you take over here.
Patriots, pretty much.
Yeah. Patriots.
Yeah, that's the big talking point.
7 Patriots are opted out for New England. Man, I mean, they're losing half their team. They're
led by Dante Hightower and Patrick Chung.
Of course. So 2 big pieces on defense. Marquise Lee did it. Their tight end, Matt Lacoste, which was pretty much their only veteran tight end that they had. Their fullback opted out, and they used a lot of fullback last year, so that's a big loss for them. Yeah, just a lot of pieces all over
Marcus
the team.
Cannon, too. That's a starter on the line.
Some fantasy people that are really deep into it might know Brandon Bolden, running back, who every once in a while has some big weeks. So that's another one. They lost some depth at running back. But man, just moving down the list, the Buffalo Bills lost 2 starting defensive players to opt-outs, EJ Gaines and Star Lutulele, the defensive tackle, both starters. Man, I mean, just a lot of pieces everywhere.
Eddie Goldman from the Bears, that's a big one.
Florida Stater, that's my boy. I love him. So Bears lose Eddie Goldman there.
Broncos lost 2 guys, Juwan James, who was a starting offensive lineman, and then they lose Pecco on defense. They have Jarrell Casey there, but still need depth.
Yeah, no, for real. It seems like it's a lot of offensive and defensive linemen.
Yeah,
like that, and it does make sense because I mean there are studies out there that are saying that this virus is attacking the obese population. I mean it's
Hey, as long as they're content with their decision, do what's best for you.
No, absolutely. So that absolutely makes sense. Obviously, these are still professional athletes. I would be surprised if this virus would take them out. But I mean, and there's a lot of other things that go into it. Your family and everything else. If you have a kid at home that has some extra issues.
That's what Dante Hightower's was. Him and his wife have had a few miscarriages in their past, and he has a kid now, and it's just like, just play it safe. Yeah, and he's got money.
Yeah, and I know of people that have like some breathing issues with their kids or some different extra medical issues that are just already there, bringing a virus that having a higher chance of getting that virus into the house. That could be life threatening for some of these young kids with issues like that. Obviously, people know Damian Williams opted out, which is unfortunate if you're I guess a Chiefs fan. Honestly, maybe
it's
not.
Very unfortunate if you've already drafted.
Yeah,
I feel really bad for you. If you've done a fantasy draft,
but maybe pretty exciting because I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is about to have an amazing rookie season. I do.
No, he's good. No, he's good. No,
let's hear it.
Am I wrong for saying that I wish that he was a little more physically challenged?
I mean, man, I'm hearing this for every. All right,
it's true though. Listen, he is stepping into a great role in the best offense in the NFL. So on paper, everything looks good. Am I wrong for saying I wish it was a Jonathan Taylor or J.K. Dobbins though? No,
you're not wrong for saying it. No,
okay,
of course not.
That's what I wish.
I get that, but man, CH he fits the offense perfectly. I mean, we're talking about a guy who this is a running back coming out of college that actually had some pretty good route running, legitimate route running ability coming out of college. His Texas route is, dirty. It wasn't. I mean, he got a lot of.
He's good. I'm not saying he's not good.
So let me finish. So what's going to happen is he's going to have a Kareem Hunt type of year, and I know you want him to be bigger, but he's equivalent to a Kareem Hunt as far as size. He's very similar.
Yeah, I'm
similarly
just saying,
built.
I think that there are other guys who could be in this role and do better. CEH is good. He is good. I think pretty much anyone in that role is going to do good. Spencer Ware was putting up numbers.
You're right. Look, any running back who's a starting running back for the Chiefs
is
going to have a good season.
Exactly.
But
I think some of it is going to be.
Okay, so go through the guys you would rather be there, or that you would have rather the Chiefs taken with their number one pick 32 and got CH because he was the first running back off the board.
DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins.
Okay, so my argument,
all other running backs that were supposed to go,
and then Cam Akers maybe.
No, see, I'd take Edwards-Helaire over.
Okay,
Cam
fair
Akers.
enough. So here's the argument. Jonathan Taylor, which I do believe he has some pass catching ability, he's a run between the tackles type of guy, and CH can do it too. CH is like a bowling ball. I mean, he just bounces off people.
It reminds me of a Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, no, I mean we said that in the draft.
It doesn't look like that really lines up with the Chiefs as well.
Man. Look, we disagree. I think we're just going to have to agree to disagree at a certain point. Because I get what you're saying.
He's going to put up points.
Yeah.
But when I think of a Chiefs running back, he wasn't popping off my head. I mean, he just really wasn't.
So are you excited? If you had him in fantasy, if you drafted him in fantasy in the second round, I thought they would
get a guy who's a little more scat back.
See, I think he is. Okay, so he's not really scat back in the sense that he ran a 4.6. He's quick though. He's quicker than fast. He doesn't have the blazing long speed, but he has some quickness.
He's gonna do good. Who's the guy who just went to Tampa Bay? He used to be LaShawn McCoy. Shady was there. I mean, it's that type of guy that you think of,
Yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying. I'm excited for Clyde Edwards. I loved him coming out of college. He was actually my number 2 running back when I was all said and done. Did you know that?
Yeah, he was my number 5.
He's your number 5, yeah. And for me, I mean, I have the program that I built to help me grade, and it was one of the final things I did was end up moving him up just because I went back and looked at him. I really like Clyde Edwards. I'm excited about him. I think he has a chance to be a top 5 fantasy running back. Period.
Yeah, I'm not going on record against it because I think.
So you're not saying that. You're just saying you wish they would have taken somebody else.
Yes, I wish they would have taken somebody else because I think the potential could be greater than what it is.
Totally.
Edwards-Helaire, good player. Get him in fantasy. In the second round, if he's there, you need to take the shot on him. I'm serious.
Totally fair. All right, we'll get back to the opt-outs. Nate Solder for the Giants.
Did you say Devin Funchess?
Devin Funchess, I missed that.
They're losing that depth.
Yeah, the only wide receiver they pretty much added over in the offseason is gone now. Nate Solder, who obviously they got from the Patriots, who didn't play very great last year. They gave him that big contract. Now he's opting out. And the Giants drafted. They thought they were going to have both their tackles, and be set up.
CJ Mosley's out?
CJ Mosley's out, yeah.
No way.
Yeah, that happened yesterday. Yeah, that
I'm
happened.
sorry,
later
Jets
today.
fans.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Good God.
And honestly, there were a couple that, like, as we were setting up this podcast, I saw on my phone. There weren't any big names that I noticed, but yeah, it's still happening. There's still going to be names. This conversation is probably going to be old by the time we get that out, which is why I said at the top of the show.
Yeah, we're going to put out another one.
You're just going to call in probably, and we'll do a quick like recap of everything, so keep everybody up to date. Marquise Goodwin, speedster for Philadelphia, gone. Anthony McKinney, offensive lineman, gone for the Titans. Big names, man. Big names. All right, we'll move on. Also, COVID related, the Bills sent their rookies home.
They had an outbreak, right?
Yeah, they had an outbreak. This was last Thursday.
Yeah.
They sent all their rookies home because they had 5 positive COVID tests. Look, we knew this was coming. We knew, I think we said it weeks ago. This is going to hit hard, and we could go through every single team and talk about how they're being affected by it, and what changes they've tried to make. Teams are knocking walls down. I heard an interview with Kyle Shanahan where he talked about how they're redesigning their entire facility basically to allow the COVID rules to not interfere with their day to day. Exactly,
as much as you can.
Yeah, so we're going to see what happens. Obviously, I don't think it's nothing to worry about right now because we knew this was going to happen. We knew there was going to be outbreaks.
Every single team is going to have something like this, and I think every single one's going to handle it the same. It's going to be swift and quick, and they're going to kill it.
Yeah,
and they'll take a week off if they have to.
Yeah, we've seen two quarterbacks, prominent quarterbacks, go on and off the COVID list. That's why we're not really going to talk about who's on the COVID list, just because I don't think it's super relevant right now.
Yeah.
We get closer to the season, maybe we'll talk about it. But I know Matthew Stafford and Gardner Minshew were on the COVID.
Off.
Yeah, they're both off now. Gardner Minshew, actually, did you see the quote he put out? He said, "The virus took one look at me and ran the other way." Just a classic Gardner Minshew quote. I loved it. All right, so we'll get off of COVID. We got to move to injuries here.
Yep.
All right, so first, really only the big news as far as like coming back from injury. Tua Tagovailoa, the Dolphins' 5th pick in the draft, he is able to practice without limitations.
That's big news for you.
That is big news for me. I think it's worth noting if you are into like dynasty or Devy fantasy league stuff like that. Tua might be somebody you look at as a future player.
He went in the 4th round in our dynasty league.
Can you talk about that?
I don't want to say nothing.
No, you got to say something. He's not listening. No. It's all right.
No, I mean, it's cool. If you have your guy, go get your guy. And if you want to buy into that, you can buy into it. Say it. No, I'm saying if you believe in your guy, you can go buy them at any point you fucking want to, because I'll sit there and get anyone else that falls. You can go get Tua, you can go get Herbert, you can go get any of those guys in the top 5 rounds.
So for everybody listening, we entered a Devy league. So it's basically a dynasty league, except instead of drafting rookie players, you draft college players and then see what happens. That's basically just more of a crapshoot when it comes to the college players that you're getting. But it's fun, and we did the startup league, and we're actually doing with a lot of people that I'm working with the Hammercast Network, which go check that out. They're doing some great stuff over there. So we'd start this Devy league, and in the 4th round, beginning of the 4th round, someone took Tua Tagovailoa over like a lot of really good quarterbacks, but Russell Wilson was the big name that was still on the board quarterback wise. And granted, it was a super flex, so 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, and it's a dynasty. I mean, if you think if you believe that he's the guy and you can wrap him up for 10 years, I mean,
you want the Dolphins starting quarterback?
Based on past, no.
Look, I'm a Dolphins fan. I hope I'm wrong.
Go 25 years ago to Dan Marino. Actually, longer than that. No, that's...
Yeah, listen, I hope he looks really smart in a couple years. I really do, but that was funny. Anyway, we got really off track.
Tua's healthy. Tua's
healthy.
News. Yeah, we're good.
Tua's healthy. So what I want to do now is we're going to go through, and I'm going to actually let you go through because we have a list of the active PUP list, right? So, and I'm going to put this on the screen too if you're watching on YouTube. Over the pod, we're going to basically hit the big names. So we have a list of some of the bigger names that are coming into camp injured. This doesn't mean they're going to miss week 1, but I do think it's worth noting. We try and attack everything on this pod, so this is one of the big things. So,
it started off T.Y. Hilton. He has something wrong with his foot, I believe.
It was a foot injury. Yep.
Jarvis Landry.
Or no, hamstring. He had a hamstring surgery, I believe it was.
And I've drafted him, so I'm hoping that he can kind of get going. Now, I think they're okay though. They have a lot of depth at receiver that Paris Campbell and Michael Pittman might be able to step up.
I'm excited for Paris Campbell.
Jarvis Landry has a hip. Yep. Carl Joseph has
hip surgery.
Foot.
Yeah, in February, I think Jarvis Landry did. Yeah.
Hip surgery?
Yeah, he had surgery after the season.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, he did.
Carl Joseph has a foot problem. He was coming off of an injury last year too.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's good to go. Mohamed Sanu.
Sony Michel. I mean, 2 big names from the
Dontari
Patriots.
Poe, Alshon Jeffrey. Where's it? Is Jeffrey? He's at the Eagles still, right?
Yeah, he's still with the Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just don't ever hear about him.
he's been hurt for his entire career, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, shit.
Corey Davis.
Corey Davis is a big one. Undisclosed injury, weird one. I don't remember him being hurt last season. Do you?
No.
Not really.
He needs to perform. This is a contract year.
This is a big year for him. Yeah, former
they declined the
fourth
option.
round pick, former fourth pick in the draft. Excuse me.
Could have had Jamal Adams.
Yeah, picked one pick ahead of Jamal Adams. Marshawn Lattimore,
Malik Hooker.
Some big names, and they needed corner because they drafted a corner later in the same first
Jackson.
round. Yeah,
the Titans did pick up that option. So
yeah,
Reuben Foster, Juan Thornhill, Garyon Conley, Xavier Howard too.
Yeah, big names around the NFL. Xavier Howard, cornerback for the Dolphins, who's been off and on injuries throughout his entire career. He's good when he's healthy, but that's about it. But moving on, look, there's other names. None of this really matters right now, but it's worth noting. Hopefully, your favorite team didn't have a guy on that list.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't linger.
Exactly. And you just never know. And I just didn't think it's important. I remember at one time during the offseason, my plan was to keep track of every single surgery that happened. And I couldn't. I just lost track. I mean, between COVID and moving and all that, I stopped caring about that too much. But there's so much going on out there, man. It's just crazy. And injuries are one of the biggest things that affect teams, man. It really, it's the biggest thing. So it's good to be ahead on stuff like that. Vic Beasley did not report to camp. Still hasn't.
And I heard that he, it was a little confusing coming out at first, but I heard that he wasn't open about contacting the Titans and letting them know.
No, yeah, they
just kind of found out on their own. It was like, oh, who's not here?
Vic Beasley.
Vic Beasley's not here.
One of our big free agent signings.
Yeah, one of the guys that we need to show up.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for the Titans.
Apparently, they've gotten a hold of him, though, and figured out that everything's okay. And they said that he's going to report.
He has to, right? Like, what's he gonna do? I mean, it's not an opt-out situation. We don't think. We'll find out. Maybe it is. But yeah, super weird. I don't feel like that happens very often. Last time I remember that was, I think somebody for the Dolphins a couple years ago just didn't show up to week one of the
they were
season.
Just done?
Yeah, it was an ex Pittsburgh player that was like, I can't even remember his name, but he was like on the tail end of his career. It was his last year in this league, and he just didn't show up. It was weird.
It just happened in baseball for the Mets.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, Yoenis Cespedes went to his hotel room, left.
Really?
Didn't tell anybody.
Shit.
He's done. He's done for the year. So don't do that.
Yeah, that's weird. You're making millions. Come on, go play football. You got people like us just sitting in front of camera talking about you, like talking about football. You got to go play.
Yeah.
All right, Yannick Ngakoue, the official holdout begins. We've been talking about this pretty much all off season. I feel like. I mean, not a whole lot to say, but I did want to at least bring it up. It's official.
He has the Jags in a chokehold to where we know what's going to happen. They're going to have to trade him, and they're going to have to scrounge up what value they can.
So we talked about this I believe it was last week when we talked about the Jamal Adams trade. Is he a 2 first-round pick trade? Is he that value?
That's bold.
Look,
Yannick is really good, and then the age factor that goes alongside of it is really good. But 2 first-rounders is a damn haul. But honestly, I'll say yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to say something, I guess not controversial, at least in this room.
I'm going to say yes.
I agree with you in the sense from talent-wise. I think really the biggest issue with Yannick Ngakoue is he's in a tiny little market and nobody in the mainstream really knows about him. I mean, for the most part. Obviously, some people know his name.
He's an elite-level pass rusher.
Listen, he absolutely is. And if he played on if he played on like Pittsburgh, or if he played in New York, if he played in a big market in LA or something, everyone would know his name. He'd have shoe deals and all that. It'd be a big thing. But he needs
to go to a team that would pick in the back 20s, Super Bowl contender. They can sign him, lock him down for a while, and to where your first round pick isn't something that you're losing top 10 caliber level. Yeah, you'll be good.
Absolutely. Big news, money wise. Hopefully this is the right button. Is that right? Oh no, wrong button. I don't know what the button is.
That's okay. We can clap for him.
Yeah, sure.
That's good. Joey Bosa got paid.
Joey Bosa got paid. Whatever.
Happy.
Joey Bosa gets $5 million or 5-year, $135 million contract, 102 guaranteed, locked down for the next 5 years. He deserves it.
Yeah. Only thing that means is get ready for Nick Bosa. 49ers.
Oh yeah, they're going to pay him more.
You're going to have to pay that ass.
They got a couple years
well
though.
Worth it. No, they do. I'm just saying if Joey is getting this and the market's going to go up, Nick Bosa is going to bring in a load.
Yeah. We're talking about a guy who's had 101 tackles in his 4-year career, 53 tackles for loss, and 40 sacks. He has averaged over 5.5 sacks per game in every season that he didn't get injured. Basically, in 2019 or 2018, he got hurt, and that doesn't really count. So, but every year he was healthy, he's getting 10 sacks a game or 10 sacks a year, guaranteed, pretty much. Yeah, you pay $102 million for that. I mean, there's a lot of value there.
Yeah, they need him there. He's a great
weapon.
player.
Yeah, he's an absolute weapon. I mean, yeah, all pro, I would say. I mean, it's insane, those brothers, man. What is it about, like, brothers that play defensive end? They're just ballers in the league.
Yeah, the Bosas and the Watts.
I'm telling you, man, they're good. They're good. All right, any other news we need to talk about? We already mentioned this. LaShawn McCoy signs with the Bucks. And, I mean, that's anything really you want to talk about with the Bucks there?
I don't know if it'll amount to much. They have Ronald Jones. Peyton Barber, I believe, might still be there, and then
Peyton Barber is there. Yeah,
Keyshawn Vaughn's still there.
Yeah,
we'll see which one of those guys gets it. It's a really, really hard thing to do in fantasy, though.
Yeah, no, I would not even touch it. I don't think it's.
I don't touch him.
I don't think it's a premier signing. I just put it up there because LaShawn McCoy is a big name at this point in the career. I don't think it's anything worth mentioning, though. Also, if you're interested in knowing everything there is to know about the Bucks running back room before LaShawn McCoy signing, go check out the video I did on Between the Pylons YouTube channel. I did the full Bucks rundown of all three running backs. So it was the three guys that you just mentioned plus LaShawn McCoy, and I did a good one there. I thought that was pretty well done. Yeah. So go check that out. And then here's the next thing we got to talk about.
Yeah, this is a bad beat right here.
We got to set it up here.
I sound weird like nigga with a hard R.
Yeah.
Man, how dumb can you be?
Gary Patterson. We're not going to say it. We're not going to touch it.
No, we're just going to say how dumb he was. He's the head coach for TCU, very prestigious program. I mean, they put out a lot of talent, and he had a problem.
Religious program, right? Isn't there a Christian college, right?
Well, yeah, Texas Christian U.
Okay, it was like
TCU in itself. That's where LaDainian Tomlinson came out.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Fair enough.
Andy Dalton, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, but he had a problem with one of his defensive players constantly using that word, and he said it shouldn't be a part anywhere. So then he feels the need to repeat that word. I heard it was up to 7 times in a defensive meeting, and the team walked out on him, as they should. I feel like it is so uncalled for. It is crazy. Some people are calling for the man's job. I don't know how it's going to go. But in this day and age, right now, you got to be better than that.
You got to be smarter than that.
You just got to be better than that. Come on now.
You can't. It just sounds weird.
You just can't do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, Childish Gambino said it best.
Childish Gambino can do it.
Yeah, he can.
That's okay.
Yeah,
he can do it. We can't do it.
No,
we don't want to do it. It should never be a thing.
It shouldn't be in your vocabulary. It shouldn't be. I mean, I don't know. I just don't get that.
Do you think he's going to lose his job?
I mean, if he hasn't already, probably not.
That's a very, very big school.
Yeah.
TCU is a very big school.
He easily could. He wouldn't get hired again, I'll tell you that.
Well, I mean, it just depends on how the players want to rally around him, too.
Yeah.
I mean, something like that.
Yeah, do the players, I mean, if they walked out, you'd think they're probably done with it, wouldn't you think?
The players 100% have this man's job in their hands.
Wow.
That is true. I feel that way.
Yeah.
And
it was a pretty basic apology.
If the school sides with Gary Patterson, then your players, you don't have a product without the players. I mean, that's something that I think the players hold literally the keys of any car, like if you want to word it like that, in any sport. The players is what people watch.
Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely agree. I mean, that's, yeah, I mean, you said it great. I absolutely agree. And he came out with an apology. It was just kind of a cookie cutter, you know, I shouldn't have said that, I'm sorry, kind of apology that we've heard 100,000 times before. So we don't really need to bring that up. Crazy, man. Just, I don't even know what to say. Like, you would just, with all the shit going on, why is that news? I mean, right? Like, why would you let that happen? Why would that ever happen? I mean,
there's just so many different ways that should have been handled. Yeah. If you do have a problem with a player saying anything, whether it be that or any other type of language that you don't like,
it's got to be.
Bring them in your office one-on-one.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be a one-on-one meeting.
Yeah, bring them in your office one-on-one. Handle it like that. Handle it like a man. Just one-on-one. Tell him what it is.
Because the big part that we're missing, I mean, these are kids that he's dealing with. Like, this is a grown man talking to kids. I mean, shit, they're what, 18, 19, 20? I mean, you can't attack them like that. I don't know. That's just strange. All right, but we'll move on. If that wasn't weird enough news, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson now owns a football league
for $15 million. Too.
15, yeah, got a bargain.
Cheap.
bargain. Him and then a couple other people came in and bought the XFL for $15 million. McMahon, the guy from WWE, is a billionaire. Yeah, he spent at least $100 million. I looked it up. There was a couple different numbers.
I think,
yeah, there was a lot of numbers floating about. It was definitely at a minimum $100 million. It had to have been more than that. But him personally financing, it was a lot. I know there was multiple reports that came out that said he was willing to spend up to $500 million to get it going over the next couple of years. Obviously, that didn't happen. Maybe it did. Maybe he ran up.
The thing that sucked most was that it was doing really good.
It was.
And COVID killed it.
It was fun. I thought it was good football. I really did.
Oh, the team in St. Louis, the fans were rallying around that. I mean, they were saying, NFL, look what we got.
Oliver Luck was chugging beer with the fans. Like, it was a fun time. I enjoyed it. It was great to have football after football, and then it was just one of those things where, the NBA and college football or college basketball shut down overnight, essentially, and then the XFL shut down 2 or 3 days later. And
they tried to make it happen. It
wasn't going to happen, yeah.
I stand by it. The only way that we will have another football league is if the NFL adopts them and gives them the funding and the media the attention. They got to be a minor league.
They have to be under the umbrella a little bit.
It's got to be a minor league.
Look, do you think they have, if they spent $15 million on it, you have to think that they have some kind of plan to get this going, because they have all of the rights. They have, everything's kind of already set up still. If next year comes along where we come to February and everything's okay, can they not start another league? Can they not start where they left off a little bit similarly?
They should be able to. I mean, I think it's a good thing for the kids in college, or the kids in high school rather, that have the choice. Do I want to go to the college where I'm not going to make much, where I risk the injury, where I might get buried on a depth chart and then have to transfer and get a bunch of flack for that? Or you can go in the XFL, or if it's the NFL minor leagues, whatever you want to call it, and get a little bit of money now, get the same type of tape, you get to learn, and then you can go into the draft.
Yeah,
I think that's cool. That's what a lot of basketball players are doing.
I also love the idea that I hope this comes back. Because we talked a lot about the bubble players and the guys. They're 80-man rosters right now. They used to be 90, but those guys that were in the bottom 10 and just were trying to cling to maybe some hope of winning, and then now they don't even get a chance. These guys that it was their dream their entire life, and they just don't even get a chance to try. I'm hoping those guys get a chance to go to the XFL. I'm hoping, those are always the great stories. I mean, there's a quarterback in the NFL right now making backup quarterback money because he played in the XFL, and it was good.
Talking about
P.J.
Walker?
Yeah, P.J. Walker.
Who is sleepy good, I'm telling you. He's good.
You're telling me if Bridgewater doesn't shit the bed, that maybe, it's possible P.J. Walker
Bridgewater goes down, P.J. Walker's the next man up.
Yeah, and, Bridgewater has been a backup, since he was in Minnesota, obviously, so... You never know. He might not be able to carry a team.
Minnesota until his knee blew up.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that you can't tell me it's completely out of the realm of possibility that Bridgewater shits the bed and he isn't any good as a starter.
Oh no,
yeah,
that's a thing.
Okay, yeah,
I want him to do good just because I like Teddy. He's a great person. Yeah,
we're both rooting for him, but I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Yeah,
I'd love to see PJ Walker play in the NFL. That'd be awesome. Start in the NFL. All right, that's it for the news. You want to go anywhere else with this? Anything else you want to?
We got that.
Yeah, I think we're good. We're gonna move on. Fantasy football profile of the week. I'm gonna let you go, and then I'm gonna run right into it.
All right, I'm gonna get mine out of the way. This is a guy last year, a little disappointing. I think he was drafted in the first round in most cases, maybe
first or second. I feel like,
early second. So last year, 789 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 245 attempts, 460 receiving, 1 touchdown on 66 catches. It is LeVeon Bell. Last year was a little disappointing. It was very disappointing, but he still put up low-tier RB1 numbers. But here is why I'm buying into him this year, because if we can go back to 2017, almost 1,300 rushing yards, 9 touchdowns, 321 attempts. So that's 70 more attempts than he got last year at New York. And then he also had 650 receiving yards with, I think it was 4 or 5 touchdowns to go on top of that. There's a reason that this guy left and sat out. People have forgotten about him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he is good. His ADP is in the 3rd round right now, 3.06 to be exact. If you can get this guy with this high of a ceiling, we saw the floor. The floor was last year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I really do. The floor was low-tier RB1 numbers. He didn't lose you any weeks. He didn't win you any weeks. Mm-hmm. But he was a definite start every single week, never had to worry about it. And if he can get back up to the ceiling in the 3rd round...
Had 78 targets last year. That's a great... Yeah.
Well, it's saying that they are utilizing him, and I really think Darnold going down for 6-7 games...
That hurt him.
I mean, think about it. What if you if the Jets can improve, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be a bad year. But as long as you can understand the weapon that you have, and I think Adam Gase has a problem doing that because he's come out against Lev Bell. But if he can utilize that weapon and utilize Lev Bell like Pittsburgh did, you have a star. And in the third round, I'm buying it. And I have him on 2 teams.
Oh, wow. Nice. All right. I'm going to be honest with you because I do like your point. And I don't want to shit on Le'Veon Bell because I do think...
Shit on him.
We obviously
Everyone
know...
else is.
we obviously know the floor for this guy. And I think you put it very
like I
well.
said, the floor was last year, and that's not a bad year.
We know the ceiling as well. And the ceiling is astronomical. I mean, it's awesome.
The ceiling is Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
So to say he's not going to have a good year this year would be stupid. I'm not gonna put my name on that. I think you're a little low because I'm looking at your notes right now. 500 receive. Did you say that or did I?
Oh no. So what I think he's going to do: 1,100 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns, 500 receiving and 4 touchdowns.
Okay. So I didn't know if you said that. I didn't want to mention it.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think 500 receiving yards is actually low, just because. I mean, yeah, he should be utilized in the pass game because they don't really have a lot, really. I mean, they drafted Denzel Mims.
That is him doing better than he did last year, and a lot of people took him in the late first. So you kind of, know, I could see where you're disappointed in that. But your third-round pick.
People got a bad taste in their mouth taking him in the first round, which I mean wasn't smart. You don't take a running back who's
go back to 2016, 2017. He is the consensus #1 pick, though.
Yeah, absolutely, and I couldn't agree more. I'm nervous more about the Jets in general, how much offensive firepower they're going to have. I think him as a pass catching weapon, which he absolutely is, he could line up in the slot and be fine. As a pass catching weapon. Yeah, I like him a lot as a weapon in general. I like him a lot. I worry about the Jets. I don't know about Adam Gase. I think this is his last year in New York. We're gonna see.
That would be better for Lev, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because Adam Gase, the moment that he got to New York,
said he didn't want LeVeon Bell.
Yeah, he said, "I don't want to pay a running back that."
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I love that. I don't really have a whole lot to add. I think you're a little bit gaudy as far as numbers. I think 1,100.
I think that's solid, man. I think that's what you expect out of a player like Le'Veon Bell, especially when we're 2 years removed from the fact that he almost had 1,300 rushing yards.
3 years.
While also, this would be the 3rd year.
Yeah, because he sat out of 2018.
2017. We're going this new season.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, I'm not.
Actually, it's not 3rd year. It's 2nd year. Yeah, it's 2 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
At the end of the 2020 season, you can say 3 years ago.
I'm just giving you shit. I mean, you're absolutely right. I get where you're
when you roll
from.
into your next guy, too, because I didn't know if you were going to go first or I go first, but the price tag on your guy compared to what you're getting from me in the 3rd, give me my guy all day.
Yeah, so it's a good roll off here. I'm going to start. So I'm talking about the Colts running game in its entirety. And the reason I'm doing that is because this is really centered around Jonathan Taylor and the hype train around Jonathan Taylor. Listen, we talked earlier, and we didn't even plan this, but I think it actually worked great for the conversation we're having with this podcast. You talked about CEH being maybe a little bit overhyped, or you wish it was somebody else or something like that. I don't think CEH is overhyped. I think he's perfectly hyped because I do think he's going to have the value of a first-round running back. He's being drafted the bottom of the first round. I'm fine with it. Go with that.
Jonathan Taylor has a better skill set than Edwards-Helaire.
That's fine to say. Okay.
That is my point on that.
And that's totally fair. Yeah. I think Edwards-Helaire fits the team he's on just as well. Jonathan Taylor fits the team he's on. I think they're fine. I think they're great fits both ways. Don't have a problem. I love Jonathan Taylor. I want that to be perfectly blunt because I'm going to shit on him a little bit later. I love Jonathan Taylor, the player. He was awesome at Wisconsin. I know he was your #1 running back.
Yes,
wasn't he?
he's damn good.
He's damn good. He's fast as shit. He's going to be behind one of the best offensive lines in the league, if not the best. So why would I not love him? And he's actually going in the 3rd or 4th round in some leagues, but I've seen him go in the 2nd round so much. I think his ADP is actually, just growing right now. It's just going up. So by the time regular people are drafting in just a regular PPR redraft league, he's going in the 2nd round. I believe that. That's the trajectory he's on.
I think that's too high. I think it's too high for a guy on a running back by committee.
So I'm sorry, I had a sneeze and then it went away. So that sucks. But. So here's the issue. We look at last season and the way they broke it down. Marlon Mack is still there. Nyheim Hines is still there. Jordan Wilkins is still there. They all played last year, and if you look at the amount of snaps they had percentage-wise in the games that they were there, Marlon Mack got about 47% of the snaps, all right? So that's fine numbers for your RB1. Nyheim Hines gets 31%. Jordan Wilkins gets 16.3%. All right, so they spread this game out, or they spread this team out really well. We didn't even talk about Jonathan, whatever his name, that started for a couple weeks for the Colts as well. They have a running back by committee. Frank Wright, everywhere he's been as offensive coordinator and head coach, he's always used a running back by committee. Jonathan Taylor is not going to be he's not going to be getting 65% of the carries. He's not going to be getting 65% of the snaps. And people are acting like he's going to have 1,200 yards rushing in this offense, and he easily
is
could.
capable of that, but he is not going to get the touches.
Marlon Mack is still there, and Marlon Mack is not just going to sit down and lose all of his carries.
Yeah.
Nyheim Hines, the coach has said that Nyheim Hines is going to be involved in third down in pass game situation. You look at Nyheim Hines, he had 44 receptions for 320 yards last year. He only had 199 rushing yards. Nyheim Hines is the third down back.
Yeah.
So you have Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor sharing first and second down carries. That's it. That's what you got. Because Nyheim Hines...
and for your team, it sounds really good. But
awesome.
for, like you're saying, as
Colts
overall
should be very
fantasy
excited.
value...
Colts should be very excited. But all this does is Jonathan Taylor brought down the value of Marlon Mack significantly. Because Marlon Mack had almost 1,100 yards last year. It's nine yards away from 1,100-yard season. He's not going to get over 1,000 this year. I don't believe that for a second. I think he'll probably be... somewhere around where Lev Bell was last year, around 700 yards. And I think Jonathan Taylor is capable of doing very similar numbers. That is not a guy you get in the second round.
No, it's not.
And then split the touchdowns. Marlon Mack got 8 touchdowns. Jordan Wilkins got 2 touchdowns. So you figure even if they have an up year in rushing, 12 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns from the running backs, Jonathan Taylor's getting 5 of those, maybe 6. That's not a running back you bet to be your number 1 or number 2 running backs in fantasy football. Look, in Dynasty, in the same Dynasty league that we're in, somebody drafted him in
pick 11 overall.
It was 11.
It was 11th overall.
11th overall in the first round. 11th overall. That's ridiculous. And look, that's fine because you're betting on the future and you're betting on him being there long term. You believe in him. That's fine. You would never do that in a redraft league. I wouldn't think. If you're looking at the 2020 season, Jonathan Taylor is being so overhyped right now. He's being too overhyped. And listen, I get it. I'm not trying to be a hater because I know the fantasy Twitter out there is on his nuts a little bit, on Jonathan Taylor's nuts. Honestly, the guys that I work with, at Hammercast, all of them are on Jonathan Taylor's nuts. They think I'm crazy for thinking Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to have a better season than Jonathan Taylor. I don't get that.
You're not wrong in saying that because I completely agree. Edwards-Helaire will have more points than Jonathan Taylor. I think that if Jonathan Taylor roles were reversed, you let Edwards-Helaire run one season with Kansas City, Jonathan Taylor run one season with KC. Jonathan Taylor's will be better. I think Jonathan Taylor is a better, more equipped running back with his skill set. But I can't do that. We have to go with what we have.
Yeah, that's
we
not
have
the world we
Jonathan
live in.
Taylor in a running back by committee at the Colts, and you have Clyde Edwards on the best football team out there. Oh, yeah, and Damian Williams opted out. The only other guy that was going to take some shares away. They're going to have another guy, of course, come in. But that's
Darwin Thompson, their 7th round pick last year.
Edwards-Helaire is getting 65% of the touches.
Easily.
Taylor won't touch 50.
And you're talking about a Chiefs team that up until the 2019 season, they'd always really just run one running back. I mean, and you look at Andy Reid, what he's pretty much done his entire career. He runs one running back. I mean...
Well, and think about what a guy like Edwards-Helaire is more skilled than Damian Williams.
Yeah,
Damian Williams was almost wrongfully not given the MVP in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and
imagine what Edwards-Helaire can do in that spot.
And Damian Williams, like people forget this, he was a career backup. I mean, he was in a running back by committee with the Dolphins, and played okay, sometimes. But I'm a Dolphins fan. I watched him. He wasn't that great. He wasn't special by any means. And then he goes to the Chiefs. He was buried in the depth chart, and then injuries happened. A sexual or not just assault, I think, against a woman. Kareem Hunt was an idiot. He gets cut, and then all of a sudden Damian Williams is in the role and performs admirably. Gets to keep the job. Great, good for you, Damian Williams.
That's what I'm saying. The Chiefs' offense can blow up some of these not lower down, but lesser skilled backs in my mind. Like just because they're in that system, they're going to do good. Same thing for the 49ers. But you have running backs that are there; they're going to put up good numbers.
And then you point to the fact that the Chiefs spent their first pick in the draft on him.
Yes.
Now, so did the Colts. The Colts spent their first pick in the draft on Jonathan Taylor. So it's the same kind of conversation. But, man, they already have a starting running back there, Marlon Mack. And Marlon Mack wasn't bad. I don't have the stats up for me right this second. But if you go look at all the advanced numbers, there's nothing in there. I did the research. There's nothing in there that is scary to you. I mean, look, it doesn't blow you away, but there's nothing in there that scares you that says, yeah, this guy wasn't that good last year. And I watched, just in the eye test as well. He was fine. He was a good running back. I will 100% say Jonathan Taylor's probably a better running back. But that's not the point. That's not the conversation.
I kind of weighed it in the same mindset where I thought it was like Edwards-Helaire and Cam Akers. Those should be the two that we should talk about where to argue between. And then the next level, not saying that they're any worse skill-wise because I really like Taylor and I like DeAndre Swift. But that's where the next conversation comes up because those are two guys who don't have given touches that are going to their mouth.
No.
They have to fight for everything. DeAndre Swift with carry on, and of course Jonathan Taylor with Mack and Nyheim Hines. Who Hines is guaranteed the third down role, I'm pretty sure.
Look, and people might want to argue with that, but that's what the coach said. That is what the coach said recently.
Why would you? I mean, Jonathan Taylor, you don't want him to get hurt. He had a lot of work in college. That was one of the things that was a downside to him coming into the draft.
It was one of the biggest negatives of the player. You know,
why kill him?
Yeah. So look. I'm glad we agree. I wish we disagreed because it'd probably be a better conversation.
I disagree on the fact that, like I said, Jonathan Taylor is a better player than Clyde Edwards.
Yeah. But even then,
no matter what, I still can't deny the fact of reality is who is in a better situation.
And here's the thing, for everybody out there wanting to make your own decision, that's fine. Look, I do disagree with you in the sense that I had Clyde Edwards-Helaire graded a little bit higher than Jonathan Taylor, but it's really close. And I said this already, I think that Jonathan Taylor fits perfectly in the system that he's in, and I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire fits perfectly in the system he's in. Yeah. I think if you switched it would be much worse for both players. And then, so I'm good with that. But that's really not even the conversation. If you think Jonathan Taylor's better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that's fine. No, it doesn't really matter. It's not about talent. It's about
we're looking at it from
fantasy. About opportunity. It's about fantasy. You're right.
Fantasy thing changes this whole conversation.
Exactly. Exactly.
Can't get points if you don't get touches.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I 100% agree. It's the same kind of conversation where, I don't put Michael Thomas as the number one receiver in the NFL right now. He's good, top 10, top 5, even maybe not number one, but he's easily the number one fantasy wide receiver. So it's that same kind of conversation. I think we beat this to death. So you want to move on?
Yeah.
ACC.
All ACC, right. Bring it on.
Let's go. I'm gonna let you.
Yeah, we'll start with the Atlantic. Scroll down to the bottom for me because I like going bottom top.
That's right.
And we will. Yeah, right there. We will do the newcomer Notre Dame at the very, very end because they finally manned up and joined a conference. Finally.
For a year.
For a year. Number 7.
Well, actually, can we...
What? You want to get them out of the way?
Well, let's do Notre Dame first just because I just thought about it and I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you think this means that Notre Dame joins the ACC forever? Or do you
they
think
should. All other sports are in the ACC.
Yeah.
Their basketball's in the ACC. Their baseball.
So do you think this just pushes them over and okay, we're in the ACC now. We're not going to go back to being separate?
The problem is TV network deals.
Oh.
They have...
They're on NBC or things.
They have their own thing that is just them, independent, kicking ass. I mean, and honestly, if you're a head coach, it works for Brian Kelly. You get to go to everyone and say, you want to be on TV every week? You want to have your own Notre Dame network?
Yeah.
Come here. I mean, I can give you the exposure. You can compete every single year, and you don't have to worry about a trip-up conference championship game. Listen, it makes sense to be independent. It
does. But
does the rest of college football like it? No, it's not fair because you can go 11-0 against some cupcakes and then argue for your playoff spot.
And then apparently when shit hits the fan and it's a bad thing to be independent, you can just join the ACC and be done.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. All right, but I'll let you start with Notre Dame just because we're there.
No, that's fine. Like I said, Brian Kelly, Ian Book, the quarterback, decided to forego the NFL draft and come back as a senior. They have one of the best offensive lines in football. They're a really good team. They are, and that's part of the reason why I think a lot of people don't like them for being it, because there's other independent schools out there.
Yeah.
But it's that they're so good, but they don't really play anybody until they have to play anybody.
Yeah.
And then if they lose, it's like, well, you were never good. That's the argument that goes into that. But they are a really good team. They lost some guys last year. They lost Chase Claypool. They lost Cole Kmet. That was the one. But they are still going to have plenty of room to grow. Ian Book is a really good quarterback. I don't know pro-ready yet. I mean, he's got some buzz around him. But regardless, being in the ACC, a lot of easy teams there. I mean, it's sometimes called the Athletic Cupcake Conference. I'm sorry, I said it. They have cupcakes. They get challenged back-to-back, which I'm really happy about this. Clemson and North Carolina, early on, back-to-back. We'll get to see what they're made of. I'm really big on Clemson.
That's what I was going to say. I think Notre Dame's going to be in kind of the same situation. I don't think a lot changes for them. I think they're going to have to go up against a powerhouse
you win
and
out,
lose.
you're in. They get to go to the conference championship, which I think is really cool for the ACC opening that up. I mean, they're saying, we'll give you a chance to go win this entire thing for 1 year.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. I don't think anyone else in the ACC, other than the Clemson and North Carolina that they play, will give them a run for their money. They're really
Florida
good.
State won't?
No. I don't even know if y'all play them, honestly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Last year, Notre Dame crossed over with Georgia. They lost that one. So they are trying. They had some good games scheduled. But like I said, just man up and join the conference.
Hey, I couldn't agree more. I really, if I said anything else, I'd just be piggybacking on everything you said. So we'll move on there. I thought that was really great, and then we'll go back to our originally scheduled Syracuse, number 7.
Yeah, get to the bottom.
The orange.
The orange. They struggled last year. 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure they had a 10-win season in 2018, which is kind of insane to think of for a Syracuse football team.
They had a great year.
Tommy DeVito struggled last year. You want to see him step up, and if you want me to, I can paint you the good feel-good story about how the quarterback gets better in the second year and he does what he's supposed to do.
You paint that, and I'll paint the other story. How's that sound?
No, because the other one's what's going to happen. Because I have it coming in last year. Exactly. I don't see it working out. They don't have a lot of talent, and it's really, really hard to recruit if you're Syracuse. Yeah. You always have that feel-good upset story. Other than that, you're probably going to win one game.
Yeah, they were 2-6 in conference play last year. Yeah. I don't imagine that.
I can see them repeating
going up very much. Like 2 wins, 3 wins maybe. They always give Florida. Look, I'm a Florida State fan, so I look at it from that prism a little bit. They always give Florida State a run for their money, but I mean, other than that. I really don't. I just don't think they have the talent that even Florida State has, and Florida State's not that good this year. So yeah, I couldn't agree more with you.
Exactly.
Listen, Tommy DeVito, maybe I don't see it. I know there was some buzz, not this past year, but the year before, that he was going to be the dude. But I mean, it just never worked out.
Well, especially coming off of a 10-win season for Syracuse in 2018, it was like, uh-oh. Yeah. Are they going to be like? Are they going to step up?
I remember being very excited because I thought it was going to add more legitimacy to the ACC.
Yeah,
and it didn't. So it is
I will say that the ACC has a few top dogs now that I'm getting behind.
Yeah, we got Clemson. We have
I'm really big on Miami too. North Carolina's getting there. I think it's not as bad as what some people say it is. I'll move on to number 6 in Boston College. New head coach Jeff Hafley. He was the former Ohio State co-defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So he's got some roots to him, at least. I don't know whether that's for good merit or not. We will see. But they have a pretty good offensive line. They will be top 5. They lost A.J. Dillon, right?
I was going to say, it's so unfortunate they lost their
quarterback.
So
we're going to have, but whoever that next guy is, and I'm pretty sure David Bailey, that's who I have written down, he should be able to step up. And with a good offensive line, I mean, you never know. Boston College always puts out a good running back.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, they lost A.J. Dillon last year.
Who was the guy before that?
God, if you wouldn't ask, I don't remember.
I know. He was really good. He was highly touted.
Fuck. Is he still in the NFL, isn't he?
Yeah, we'll keep talking about it.
It's okay.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we look at Boston College. This is a team 4-4 in conference play last year. I'm actually kind of excited for Boston College. I feel terrible that they lost their quarterback.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
People are really high on him.
Yeah, I'm not low on him. I'll be honest. This is totally random. It has nothing to do with the 2020 season. But did you see the Siberian high school kid that they already gave
no.
So they already signed this college kid, high school kid, never actually played a game in high school. He's going to be an offensive lineman.
That's a big ass dude.
Yeah, 6'8", like 330 pounds, something like that. Like, dude's an absolute beast. He's from Siberia. He moved to Cincinnati this past year to go play college football because of the opportunity. Because he's just a giant.
Let me play the football.
You want me to stop him? He's tiny.
I would crush him.
So Boston College says, yeah, we want you on our team. We don't even care if you can play. You're going to play. He's 17 years old. He's going to play a year of high school. Maybe he won't even play a year of high school ball. Shit, we don't even know. But he's going to go to Boston College. And
that's a cool story.
Yeah, that's super cool.
I think it's all in all. I think it's going to take a few seasons for Hafley to get his guys in and just to be able to make it work at BC. I mean, if the running back hits like he's supposed to, and they usually run under center, it should be pretty good. But right now, they're still going to be at the bottom.
Fair enough. All right, we'll move on here to Wake Forest.
I was hyped.
Jamie Newman.
Yes. And if Jamie Newman would have stayed, this team could have been something that would have been, I would have been way more hype on.
Yeah.
But now Sam Hartman gets his job back. Sam Hartman had his job.
Up. Gotcha.
Sam Hartman had the job in 2018. Jamie Newman comes on the scene, takes over, and he has this crazy season where he makes all these exciting plays.
He's awesome.
You never hear about that from Wake Forest usually.
Yeah.
So now we're back to the same old Wake Forest. Now here's the name to know for the NFL draft, though. It's Sage Surratt.
Yeah.
He is a wide receiver.
Baller, wide receiver,
There are some people saying that this wide receiver class, last year's is legendary. This one's going to be one tick down from that. There's a lot of good names that are going to be there.
So I shouldn't have traded all my Devy picks?
Listen, there's a lot. Sage Surratt is going to be there. You have Tutu Atwell who's in the same conference. Those guys are going to go pro. They're really good. And, I mean, yeah, Wake Forest, good team. They'll be okay.
So they're 8-5, 4-4 in conference play last year with Jamie Newman. What are they going to be without Jamie Newman? With Sam Hartman in?
They can win 3 or 4 conference games.
So
because we're looking at a 10 game ACC only.
That's what it is.
They can beat up on Syracuse. I mean, they can go toe to toe with Boston College. They could compete with. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, they could do NC State, and I don't know who their crossovers are, but good God, if it's Clemson, or I mean, they have to play Clemson. They're already in there. So if it's North Carolina and all those other guys,
they're screwed.
Have fun.
All right, we'll move on to NC State. Just like we said, his team was 1-7 last year in conference play.
You might think I'm too high on
4-8. Yeah, explain NC State to me, man. Let's hear it.
I like Dave Doran. I like him a lot. They're usually a team that is always hovering around the 6, 7, 8 win-ish mark. Yeah. Last year they fell short. Last year they had a lot of stuff not go their way though. They had a horrible turnover. Injuries and turnover margin.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where, I mean, if that happens to you, you're going to lose a lot of games.
And that usually does regress to the mean. So that is a really good point. That's a good way to forward think a little bit.
So, I mean, they had a lot of stuff not fall their way. I don't know. They crossed over with Duke and Boston College. Mm-hmm. I mean, because, they
that's not bad at all. How many conference wins how many wins do you think they have last year? It's just conference.
In conference last year?
Well, I know last
year. Did they win 2?
No, they won 1 last year. I'm saying, how many do you think they have this year?
4. I think they could do 4.
So 4. So
they are a middle of the road ACC team with a possible upset against you never know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you just never know how it's going to go. I think they're pretty good. They're gonna make a bowl.
So people are low on him, you would say?
Yes, I would say they're low.
Nice.
And other people would say that I'm very, very high on them.
I'm not going to give you shit for that because I do agree. I remember them having a ton of injuries. They've always been good. I mean, Dave Dorans, what's his name? Is that
Dave Doran.
Dave Dorans. He's been there for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
So he's been able to create a pretty okay team. NC State, gave Clemson a run for their money last year, right?
Well, that was last year.
Oh, that was North Carolina.
Last year was his first losing season.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to get back in the win total, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And like you said,
with the injuries and turnover,
bad shit happens sometimes.
Yes,
it is what it is.
Exactly.
All right, so we'll move on to Florida
I'll let
State.
you take this one. I want to hear what you got to say.
Mike Norvell takes over, the former Memphis head coach, who's put out a lot of talent to the NFL lately, takes over as the Noles. I am incredibly excited for this Mike Norvell year, not this year specifically, but this era.
Yeah.
I will say I was a little disappointed he didn't play his bowl game, or he didn't coach his bowl game, because Memphis had a great season last year. I wish it would.
They made New Year's 6.
Yeah, I wish he would have finished out the year with him, but that's okay. It is what it is. He goes to Florida State. Look, Florida State hasn't been good since a year before. What's his face left?
Jimbo.
Jimbo. Thank you. Really haven't been good since Jimbo left, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
We're the team that wasted a Cam Akers. We're the team that has no offensive line. We're the team that still has James Blackman there for what, 2006, I guess?
For a long time. He's been there for a long time.
Forever. I mean, so look, Mike Norvell has some changes to make. The one thing that I will say, Florida State always has those 4- and 5-star recruits. It's a great city. Look, college kids want to be there, man. High school kids see Florida State. They know they're going to be at the top of. I live down there. I know how crazy it gets. It's if you're looking to be, top dog, college athlete, live that lifestyle for a couple of years, you're going to have fun in Florida State. And not to say you won't have fun in a lot of other places too, but Florida State's a big school. They're always going to have some top recruits.
Just being in that state alone, being a Power 5 school, you are going to be able to do some stuff. And Mike Norvell is a great offensive-minded coach.
Great offensive-minded coach. Great recruiter, because he made some moves with Memphis. Roots. So look, this season might not be great, but we look at last year. They were 4-4 in conference play, went 6-7. We got a bowl game. That was awesome.
Well, last year's regarded as horrible.
Well, yeah, and last year was terrible.
You'd like to think
can move up. We can do better. We have a young running back. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I don't see it. No, we don't have it. But he should be able to maybe not be as highly touted as Cam Akers. He was the number 2 recruit out of high school coming out. So not that level, but it's still a pretty good running back supposed to come in. Our offensive line should be better because we have a lot of cohesion. I mean, a lot of pieces are coming back. Not a lot of people. It's a young offensive line that most of them are coming back. I believe we're having 4 starters come back.
Yeah.
So look, it might not be great. It might not be great this year, but Mike Norvell moving forward, I'm excited to see what Florida State can do. Am I too rosy-eyed? Let me know.
No, I have them at number 3 in the conference for a reason. I still think that they are. I mean, they line up against NC State, Wake Forest, Boston. We know
stronger.
We know who the favorite is.
Yeah.
We know who it is simply because, like you said, of the recruits that you're able to get at your program. You're huge.
Yeah.
You're one of the most storied programs out there.
Yeah.
Get back to it. Give Mike Norvell time to get back to it, and that's all I want.
Give us 4 years, man. Because, I mean, look, the guy we had in before, it is what it is. It's unfortunate he only got 2. Yeah, Taggart only really got 2 years. But, I mean, it was just it felt very fake. It felt very hokey. The whole we had a whole thing that went down on social media. It was it just felt it felt fake, I guess is the best way I can say it. And the players just never got behind him, and you can't do a whole lot when your players don't get behind you.
That's the biggest thing in college is building the culture. You really have to do that. Like, if your players want to go play for you, you will go win games off of that.
And Taggart tried and failed, and now we're going to see what Mike Norville can do. I'm excited, man. We'll move on. I don't really have anything else to say.
You'll go bowling.
Yeah, bowling. Hell yeah.
You'll go bowling.
Louisville.
Is that crazy?
2?
At number 2, Louisville at number 2.
It's not a great conference. It's not a great.
I think that they have one of the most formidable trios in the ACC. And Scott Satterfield is their coach because we had the thing with Petrino happen or whatever it was a couple years ago. So 8-win season last year. Didn't start out great either, but that offense is returning. Mikael Cunningham, Javian Haskins, and Tutu Atwell. And
Tutu Atwell,
Adam's out there somewhere listening to this, and he loves Tutu Atwell.
Yeah, I still need to do that video.
Shifty. He is very good, and he will be at the next level.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, they're a top 25 potential team. They can ride out the year on that. And no, they're not capable of beating Clemson. They can keep up with them.
They're capable of having a good first half against them.
Yeah, they can do something like that. And they're not capable of beating the North Carolina either. I don't think that they're at that level.
Yeah.
But they're still a really good team. 8 wins. They can do that.
Would you say third best team in the conference?
Clemson, North Carolina, Louisville.
Clemson, you got to include Notre Dame.
Oh, no.
No, so fourth
if
after Notre
Dame's
Dame.
In there, they might be 4th or 5th. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Yeah. Notre Dame fucks things up.
Yeah, it does.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. We probably don't even have to say much about Clemson. That's everyone listening already knows about Clemson. But Clemson, Debo.
Dabo has built a damn mountain.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere. It is crazy. Honestly, if you look at it in like eras, I think Alabama dominated 2010 to like 2013. Like they have that just owned.
Yeah.
Right now, we are living in the Clemson era.
Yeah.
Alabama's still there. Don't get me wrong. But Clemson is always relevant. They have been in the college football playoff, I think, every year since it's been a thing.
Yeah. And they've been dominant at times. I mean, yeah, it's been awesome. It's an awesome ride for Clemson. I remember at a time where Florida State was just a little bit better than Clemson, and I thought Florida State was going to have the type of legacy that Clemson is putting together right now.
Because Florida State, y'all used to do this to the ACC great. Like Clemson is doing.
Yeah, and Clemson was the only team that really ever gave us fits. It didn't really even give us fits, but they're the only team on our schedule we were worried about, really. So now it's Clemson, and that's awesome. I mean,
Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne coming back. They lost Justin Ross to that neck injury, which really sucked because I was super high on him. For me, it was Jamar Chase, Justin Ross neck and neck.
Oh,
with each other.
For sure.
He was really good. But that doesn't change much.
You don't think they have a wide receiver in the wings? They do. I don't know his name, but I'm sure they do.
Oh, they always, they always land at 4 or 5 stars. I mean, they're
constant. Yeah. And it's something great when you have the players just after they won a championship telling all the high school kids around the world, come here.
Yeah.
Like that was such a crazy moment. Trevor Lawrence is the future first pick in the draft next year. We agree on that, right? Travis Etienne is kicking himself for not joining the draft this year. We agree on that, I assume.
No, I think he's going to be the first running. I don't think he would have been the first running back taken.
But I'm saying he's kicking himself for not just joining the league instead
because of the COVID.
Because we don't know what's going to happen now.
Now him on the Chiefs, that sounds good to me. That sounds like a good matchup.
I mean, I agree.
That sounds good.
It sounds just
they're
as good
a really
as
good team,
CH,
and they're not going anywhere for a long time. I think they have the easiest road to the college football playoff out of any team out there. And that includes battling against North Carolina and Notre Dame.
So we forgot to bring this up. I think now's a good time.
Yeah.
We have a bet. We have a $50 bet. I mean, we would never bet money, but obviously we have a $50 bet that
I took Ohio State and Clemson.
I took the field.
And he took the field on winning the college football playoff. And you know what? I think I'm going to have 2 teams, 2 out of the 4 teams represented right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll run those odds.
I'm truly just betting on a hiccup game from one of those teams because if they lose any, they're out.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I did the same thing last year, and I've actually made a deal with all of our group of friends that I will take the field with pretty much any bet. I gave Dylan, who's a longtime listener, a good friend of ours, I gave him Alabama last year. I took the field. Did not think I was betting on LSU, but I mean that's how it goes. I just take the field.
Well, there's always that 1-year wonder, the one-hit wonders who come in, win it, and then but these guys are always there.
Always there. Take your shot. Yeah, absolutely agree. All right, let's go to the Coastal. It's so weird how they do that, isn't it?
Yeah, what was the first one? Pacific and Coastal?
Instead of just North and West or North and East, whatever. All right, continue. Georgia Tech, number 1.
Yeah, they're bad.
Yeah, they're
they're bad. And for most of our lives, they have always run this read option style. They have always been in that read option system. Second-year head coach, Jeff Collins, that's his name. Mm-hmm. He is getting out of it. They're going to
He's
a straight
done.
up. They're going to
It's
a straight
over.
up spread system.
It's weird.
The problem with that now is that you have players that were solely recruited to Georgia Tech to do the read option. They
Knew what
probably
they were
did.
doing.
They probably ran the wing tee in high school. That is why they're there. So right now, trying to transition them out of that scheme, because you always hear about Georgia Tech, and they're usually not the best, but one thing they are is disciplined at what they do.
Yeah.
Getting them out of that mindset, getting them out of that mentality, he needs to get his guys in there and do that. So it's going to be a bad year.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, look, they were 3-9 last year, 2-6 in conference. If they win a conference game, I might be surprised.
This one could be worse just because they don't get the cupcakes to get ready. I mean, they're pretty much doing. They just now decided to run a spread when everyone else in the conference has been doing it
For years.
for years.
For years.
It's just going to take. I really wish they would have done this whenever they had Demarius Thomas or when they had Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
Because think about how good those two were coming out to be in a wing T system.
Yeah. No,
That's weird.
Yeah, it's so strange.
That's
Super,
weird.
super strange.
So moving on to number 6, we have Duke, and it pains me to have Duke this low. It does. What's so funny?
Nothing.
Is it having Duke this low? Is that what's
No, it's not because we paused or anything.
Okay, quit laughing. Head coach David Cutcliffe, really good. Duke gets the benefit from a Clemson transfer, and Bryce Young. Let me make sure. Bryce Young's at Alabama.
I was going to say, it's not Bryce Young.
They wish it was Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Chase Bryce. Hopefully he can get the Blue Devils back. David Cutcliffe hasn't had losing seasons in back-to-back years since sometime in like 2011, 12.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. Cutcliffe's usually doing really good things.
Cutcliffe did, I mean, look, he produced a what?
Nothing.
Cutcliffe does
I
it.
remember that time that you made me ask your dad if David so John messed with me one time and told me that David Cutcliffe ate ass in college because he said that his dad was roommates with him in college, and me being the person who would think who the fuck would make up that kind of story, I mean, why would I think that was a joke? Because it was so random. I messaged his dad and asked him if he ate ass, and he said yeah. So David Cutcliffe, I agree with you. That's why it was so funny.
You know the story of that, right? I messaged my dad really fast.
Well, you told me afterwards, but at first I was sitting there looking like, dude, David Cutcliffe's cool.
Yeah.
I'll go play for him.
I messaged my dad and said, Jacob's going to ask you a question, just say yes. He did.
He did.
All
and
right.
it paid off. We'll get back to the football aspect behind the Blue Devils.
David Cutcliffe, a good, really great at eating ass. Also really good at developing quarterbacks. Daniel Jones is in the NFL right now.
Yeah, he's offensive guru.
top 6 quarterback in the NFL draft a couple years ago. Look, they lose your top quarterback. You're going to have a down year the year after that. It happens. Yeah. I think this is a bounce back year for Duke. I really like David Cutcliffe, the head coach. They had a 3-5 in conference record last year. I think they can get to 4 or 5 wins in conference.
And I would be okay with putting them higher than 6, but it is just most of the guys above, actually all of the guys above them, have a really promising new guy that's there, like a highly touted transfer, or they have a lot of familiar faces, and familiar faces win games. And whenever you don't have one at quarterback, it's going to take someone to have to step up and do it. And also, your defense is really bad. They allowed over 28 points per game last year.
Yep.
And it's really hard to ask a new quarterback to come in and say, hey, you need to score more than 28 on average to keep us in this.
Yeah.
You're going to lose games off of that.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. We will move on to... Did you get him?
Yeah, I got that.
We got a mosquito. We just got him. Hell yeah. All right, we're going to move on to Pittsburgh.
Like I said, familiar faces wins games.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, the house that Dan Marino built. Let's hear it.
Pat Narduzzi. That is the head coach there.
Pat Narduzzi, not Marduzzi.
Narduzzi,
like the Nard dog.
Yeah,
Narduzzi.
Nard dog. He's a Nard dog. Narduzzi has a lot of familiar faces. They have Kenny Pickett coming back on offense. He is a senior quarterback. He threw for over 3,500 yards last year. Mm-hmm. He's really good for what he does on Pitt. Yeah. And when you have familiar faces, you can.
You sounded so not confident about it. He's really good.
Well,
he's really good.
Well, because
he's
really good.
He's really good.
Really good gets used a lot. I mean, Tom Brady's really good.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Well, Tom Brady's more than really good.
Okay, but it just depends on what you look at on a national landscape, like NFL,
I understand.
college,
he's really
high school.
good for Pittsburgh, is what you're saying.
That's why I said he's really good for Pitt.
Yeah.
He can run their offense well. They have a really, really good defensive lineman in Jalen Twyman. He is going to be at the next level.
Is he really good? Or
Yes.
is he really good?
That is a fringe first rounder. I would bet on second round for him right there. A lot of familiar faces on defense, too. They're really good.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they're good.
Really good.
But how good?
Really good.
They can compete with the average guys. If they were in the other coastal division, I think they would go around 4th.
Nice.
They would be right below Florida State on that.
Okay.
So it's just talent's better on this side.
Yeah.
It's crazy in saying that because you have Clemson on the other one, who of course we know is better than all of them, but the overall depth in this side is
a little bit better. Yeah, because you have Pitt at 5. They were 8-5 last year.
Yeah.
Regular 4-4 in conference play, and I think they're going up. I don't look at this team as a team that's in a downward trajectory in any way.
It's just the guys above them have so much more upside whenever I look at it.
And that's fair, but this is the team that could easily surprise a lot of people and maybe jump into top be playing against Clemson in the conference championship. And granted, that's always just who gets to play Clemson, who gets to lose to Clemson this year. It could be that type of situation. Pitt could have that type of surprise year. I think it's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I definitely think it's possible. I think they're really good.
Really good. You can interchange them one step up with Virginia. That's who I have at number 4. And the only reason they're there is just because of the recruiting, of the talent that they're able to get there.
They lost their cornerback, though.
They did, and he was a 4-year starter who put in the numbers. I mean, he set records that have been there for years. And I just don't know what they're going to do there. They got a New Year's Six bowl last year. They got there, like you said, they were the ones who got to lose to Clemson.
Yeah.
They did it in really good fashion. I'm pretty sure it was like 50,
So why do you have them at 4 here?
Because just because you lose your quarterback doesn't mean that. Now, they also, I think they got bit by someone leaving. It was the cornerback. A cornerback sat. No, that's VTech.
Oh, that was VTech that had the cornerback sit. Okay, my bad. I mixed that up. I apologize.
No, you're good. We'll get to him at 3. They have a good defense, top 5 overall. They have some of the best linebackers in the conference, though.
Nice.
I do like them as a whole, but
they have all their offensive linemen returning. By the way, I think that's important to note. This is another team. They were 9-5 last year. Like you said, I mean, they got to lose to Clemson. That was really exciting for them.
9-5 on the shoulders of their quarterback, though. That's why I have them going from 1 to 4.
Yeah, I mean that's totally fair. 6-2 in conference. I get where you're coming from with that. I definitely see them going in a downward trajectory. Let's talk about Virginia Tech because I just completely ruined Virginia talking about their cornerback that is not opting out. That's Virginia Tech.
This is the guy who's doing
Caleb
it.
Farley, who's going to be a
really
first-round pick probably. He's opting out because he doesn't. He's just going to prepare for the draft. Who else? There was another college guy.
It's smart,
yeah,
honestly.
There's another college guy that opted out, right?
I can't think of the big name, but I know the entire Pac-12, we may not even be able to do a segment on it.
Wow.
Almost
crazy.
the entire Pac-12 is starting a movement now to where it's more than being an athlete. And it is.
Yeah,
Because when it comes to your safety, it's easy for these colleges to push you out there and make billions of dollars off of you just for you to not get anything. And some
possibly
schools,
risk your life.
And some schools aren't even having classes, so then you're not even getting the fallback education that you were promised to get anyway. So I get what they're doing. I expect more players to do it, and it's going to happen, and we're just going to have to deal with the product.
Yeah. All right, so Virginia Tech. That was totally a little bit off topic. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
You're good.
Hendon Hooker took over after a wishy-washy start last year. But
it sounds like a superhero, Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? They had a different face at quarterback, and they went 2-2 after their first 4 games. But after that, they won 6 of their last 9, and that was against some quality opponents too. So I mean, new face. They were winning.
I like Virginia Tech this year. I really do. I'm so disappointed they're losing their cornerback just because
that's what I was about to say.
Their big piece.
It really sucks having to lose that just because he's fun to watch.
Yeah,
Matt Miller had him rated as his number 1 corner.
Yeah, no, and he probably deserves to be. He was awesome last season. This is a top tier team in the ACC. I really believe that. I mean, we were talking about. Earlier is what was the team I was asking if they're Louisville? Sorry.
Yeah.
Is Louisville better? Top 3? No, they're not better than Virginia Tech.
That's why I was saying they're like 4 or 5. They got it because VTech has. I mean, they're good.
They have some talent. Yeah, they definitely have some talent.
Took a hit at the secondary, but they still have 3 starters returning there. Linebackers, they brought every single one of them back.
Yeah.
They're good to go.
All right, we'll move on to Miami.
I love Miami.
You love Miami.
De'Aaron King. Remember that name? I'm sure we all knew that name in 2018. He was at Houston. Then he had to sit out a year whenever he made it to Miami. He is going to bring the U back. I'll shoot it on the camera. I mean, the U is there. It's scary. He's going to have to get used to new offensive coordinator Rhett Lashley. But good news about him, he worked with Gus Malzahn at Auburn when Nick Marshall was really going crazy.
I see where you're going with this.
I think it's an easy offense to catch on. It involves a lot of quality reads and easy throws that you can make. And De'Aaron
King can do that?
His skill set is going to boom. First-round quarterback.
Oh, first-round draft pick?
Bet.
Really?
Yes, I like De'Aaron King.
Wow.
I like De'Aaron King a lot.
That is bold.
People forgot about him, man.
So he's really good.
Yes, he's really good. Yes, he is. He is really good. Put him up there on the Heisman watch list. I'm telling you, he's good.
Wow.
He is going to be able to have Miami competing in every single game that they're in, as long as he's out on the field.
So Manny Diaz, you think is about to have a possible Heisman winner on his team?
Yeah, there's a chance. There's
Coach Miami
I
Diaz?
really like the quarterback play in the ACC.
Yeah.
Derek King, you have Sam Howell at North Carolina, Trevor Lawrence,
Obviously,
who's
yeah.
booming, and Cunningham from Louisville. I mean, there's a lot of good names there.
Some good pieces there, man. Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's bold.
Trust me. Tell me. I know it's bold. I know it's ambitious. I think they only benefit more from an ACC only schedule, though.
Sorry, there's a mosquito.
I know.
All right. No, I love it. I mean, obviously, I'm not loving it for me, a Florida State fan, but I love the take. I mean, that's bold, man. Derek King being a first round pick just in general is bold to say he's a Heisman contender. I love the look. You're really good at connecting dots. I've always, we've said that since the beginning of this podcast. You're always been really good, especially in college, but a lot of times in the NFL too, at seeing different connections and saying, hey, this is something to watch out for. Right here, you're talking about the offensive coordinator that coached Nick Marshall with. I mean, this was a Auburn team. They went to the championship. They had that amazing, kick 6 year.
And I think having an ACC only, because that means they dodge Florida.
Exactly.
So that's a guaranteed loss, pretty much.
Yeah. Look, that's awesome. I'm excited to see that. I hope you're right on this. I'd love to be able to clip this out in a couple months and be like, hey,
be cool.
We said it first. Derek King, I'm on board. I am following this hardcore.
I like Derek King
I believe
a lot.
in you. I love it. All right. Look, they were 4-4 last year, 6-7, and regular, but 4-4 in conference
8 wins.
play.
They could lose. I see them losing maybe 2 conference games.
They
And
can
that's
have
if they
8.
have to catch.
Yeah.
Notre Dame.
They can have 8 wins. Hopefully this works out for them, man. That's exciting. And then the number 1 team in the Coastal Division,
North Carolina, and I'm about to get all hype again for the quarterback in Sam
hear
Howell.
it.
Mac Brown almost had these guys beating, and Sam Howell was a freshman last year.
this close to being
Literally
Clemson.
that close. It was a 2-point. They decided
They
to go
went for it
the
twice.
2-point.
You had to go. They made the right decision.
When you're in that spot against that big of a mountain,
Go
in
win or-
Clemson,
go win
big
or go home. Yep.
Get your guys hype and get out of there and leave. And knowing that you have Sam Howell returning as a sophomore, this is another guy. I'm going to say it, Heisman. They have 3 quarterbacks that are going to be up for the Heisman, and Trevor Lawrence, Sam Howell, and
Derek
I
King.
said, Derek King.
Yeah.
What's his name? Daz Newsome, great wide receiver. He's going to go pro. He's going to be one of those guys who's going to be like, he reminds me of Tyler Johnson from Minnesota.
Okay.
Like a fourth, fifth rounder
round type of guy, but has some talent.
But it goes to show that it's just, there's a lot of guys that are better than him. It's not a
that's
hit
not
to him.
Yeah, so
I'm trying to think of how to word it. It's just showing that the wide
they
receiver.
have a good wide
is
receiver.
deep.
They have a really good wide receiver, is what you're saying.
The talent is deep in this next year's class when it comes to wide receiver.
I got
Mac
you.
Brown is doing great things. I am honestly glad as an Auburn fan that COVID hit, and
I was
we do
about
not
to
have
ask
to
that.
open up with them.
I was about to ask if you're excited, if you're happy about this.
They're a sleeping giant at Chapel Hill, and it's just scary because I think both Auburn and North Carolina have the same type of second-year guy who has highly touted coming into the program, and you want to see them make the next step. Sam Howell is better than Bo Nix last year. I can say that.
I'm not gonna lie, because you're the one that does these rankings, and we go based off of you. When you sent them into me last night, I was literally looking at your Coastal Division, hoping North Carolina wouldn't be number 1, so I could give you shit for it.
No,
because I
you're
wanted
good.
to, because I totally agree. North Carolina is an up and coming team. Look, they won 7 games last year. I could see in regular season, I could have seen them giving Auburn a chance, a run for their money. Maybe not beating them. I could have seen them winning 11, 12 games and having one of those kind of seasons, because it just feels like everything is building up. It feels like they could have had a Minnesota type of season, right? Like Minnesota last year.
And that's what's scary is that whenever you're a big SEC team and you have to take on that little, it's the little guy who won 7 games in the ACC last year. That's nothing.
That's ready to fucking go and pick it up and win 10-11 this year.
Yeah.
Look, they could be an 8-9 win team in conference this year. They could give Clemson a run for the money. They're not going to beat Clemson, I don't think.
There's a chance though.
But
there really is a chance. If they were able to do it last year,
I'm rooting for them. That could be $50 for me if you. I mean, we would never bet on it, but you know. But I feel like they're one of the biggest obstacles to Clemson making the college football playoffs. I feel like I couldn't agree with you more, man.
They'll meet up in the championship.
I hate that we're both hyping. I wanted to be the guy saying this. I really did. I wish you would have put Miami ahead of them, so I could have given you shit. But no, it's okay. You did great.
Sam Howell's better than Derek King on the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
And
I agree
no
with that.
discredit to Derek King. That is solely based off of Sam Howell.
Yeah,
he's good.
He's a good player. Awesome, man. So we're good with the ACC. So we've done the SEC, we've done the Big Ten, and we've done the ACC.
Probably Big 12 next week because I don't know if we'll get to do Pac-12.
Big 12, and then we might be done with college. We'll see if we're going to be able to do Pac-12 or not. We're not going to do it if they're not going to play, though. So that's just, we'll leave it at that right there. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to do the draft. We're going to do a mock draft at the end of the show, but we're just going to end it right now because we're actually going to cut out and put in the mock draft because we already recorded the mock draft. So you're going to have that for you guys. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. That helps us out so much. We would really, really appreciate it. Give us some comments. Let us know what you thought. We really do read every comment. We try to reply to every comment. We want to know what you guys think. We've had some great comments lately, just giving us a rundown of everything they thought about the show, and that is so awesome. We really appreciate that so much.
We can take criticism well. We want to get better, and we want to do it for y'all.
Exactly. I mean, you said it great. Look, give us a like, and then tell us what you didn't like, because tell us what we can do better. We always want to improve.
Don't hit the dislike though. We're good.
Don't do that. That hurts our feelings.
Yeah, if you gotta hit the dislike, we don't care what you say.
Exactly. Hit the subscribe button. Follow us because, guys, next week there's going to be a new jersey right here, and we are going to be giving it away. Official Eric, I believe, won it this week. Like I said, congrats. Congrats to him. All right, we're going to cut out. It's going to go to the mock draft, and then we'll be done. Peace out, guys.
7.
All right, guys. Welcome back to Between the Pylons. We are about to do our first mock draft of the season. So we are doing this on the Fantasy Pros website. As you can see, we are going to do just random PPR season for the 2020, just a one season PPR redraft. We're going to randomize our draft position, so we don't know. We're not going to do kickers or defense, but we're going to have 8 bench spots. So we're going to get kind of deep into this, all right?
Randomize it. Let's see it.
We have the second pick in the draft.
Okay.
All right. Let's start our draft and let's get going.
Second. It's Saquon.
It's got to be Saquon, right?
It's Saquon.
All right. We don't need to take a tour. We're good. All right. So first pick was Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Number 2. We got to go Saquon here. Anywhere else you would consider?
Nope.
Yeah,
100% no. In fact, I have picked second twice in 2 of the leagues, and I've gone Saquon both times.
Yeah, so I want to bring it up. Just Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Thomas are the next guys on this list. I probably wouldn't agree with any of those other ones. I think Delvin Cook may be the next guy I would actually consider. But yeah, no, I totally agree. We'll draft Saquon. We'll move it on. All right, and we'll just
look at the names go.
Yeah, if you're on YouTube,
there went Clyde.
Yeah, if you're on YouTube, you can see all of this. This is also going to be posted on our podcast as well, just to see kind of the names right here. On this one, Michael Thomas goes 4, Ezekiel Elliott's gone. We see DeAndre Hopkins go 6 overall, so wide receivers went a little bit earlier. Dalvin Cook, Henry, Josh Jacobs. We see Devontae Adams go at 10. Patrick Mahomes went in the first round. So this is just, this is randomized.
Someone's going to do it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone always does
Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes 112, which is exactly where he should go, by the way. I'm just saying. Joe Mixon goes. Travis Kelce goes. Julio Jones. Nick Chubb. Kerryon Johnson. Tyreek Hill. Lamar Jackson. Chris Godwin goes 208, which is kind of crazy to me. Adam Thielen. Austin Eckler. And here we are. Here are the names that we have to look at.
Miles Sanders, and I like Miles Sanders a lot. What does the board look like, though?
So we're looking at a George Kittle. We're looking at an Allen Robinson. I'm actually going to increase the screen here. We're looking at an Allen Robinson. Aaron Jones is a name that sticks out to me. I don't know about you. Where else are you looking?
Yeah, in a 1-year redraft league, I go with Aaron Jones here.
Really? So you're not worried about A.J. Dillon taking over? He was drafted in the second round.
Not necessarily. Miles Sanders has a lot of good upside, and I am big on him, but it does scare me for him to be my RB2.
Yeah, I really agree with that. And Miles Sanders, really, he disappointed me a little bit last year.
I know a lot of people would go, like it says on the screen, 54% of the experts agree. Yeah, it's good. It's just something in my gut tells me, man, he's got to have to live up to that hype.
Now, so we're kind of at the turn. We have to have 2 picks, and then we're going again. So what are we thinking here at the turn? I'm looking at Aaron Jones and probably a wide receiver because actually, I'll be honest with you. I would actually like to take Miles Sanders and Aaron Jones, and then go wide receiver the next round.
See if Aaron Jones can last, just because it's simulated. So
because I really like the. I really like the wide receiver depth that in this draft this year. I mean,
Yeah,
in
ton
PPR
of
wide receiver depth. Do you want to risk it with Miles Sanders? Or do you want to risk it with Aaron Jones?
Run it with Miles Sanders. If Aaron Jones doesn't make it, we'll go get a receiver.
All right. And
let it be known, though.
Aaron Jones went the next.
Let
pick.
it be known that I do not think that Miles Sanders. I don't feel comfortable with that as my RB2. I will do it. I will do it if you have to.
Yeah,
but
I wish. I think we probably should have gone Aaron Jones and then risked it with Miles Sanders. Either way, it wouldn't have mattered. Where do we go? I don't think we don't like any of these running backs, do we? Melvin Gordon, James
Melvin.
Conner,
I like Todd Gurley.
Chris Carson, Todd Gurley are all there. In the third round, are any of these names somebody you want to look at?
No, not Todd Gurley. Not in the third, but I like Todd Gurley overall fantasy-wise. Hit wide receivers. That's where we need to go now.
Actually, you know what I want to look at? This is the name I would look at right here.
Leonard Fournette in the third. I would look at a LeVeon Bell.
Okay, so here's my argument for, because look, we can look at wide receivers in a second. Here's my argument for Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette is the true workhorse back for the Jaguars. There's nobody else taking over. And last year he had a borderline running back 1 year with 3 touchdowns. That's going to regress to the mean. And by that I mean he's going to have more touchdowns this year.
You know what's crazy? Say everything the exact same. 3 touchdowns, everything. Le'Veon Bell.
Fair enough.
That is literally the same exact thing for me. He is the workhorse there, and I think Lev adds that other fold in the receiving game too when it comes to a PPR league. That's why I lean to him on that.
Okay, so we'll hold on that, and then we'll look at some wide receivers here that we might like. I'm not super high on Allen Robinson here. I think it's a good value if you're looking for wide receiver in the third round. I can't find myself taking him.
Man, I don't like the way that this looks at all for us to have our wide receiver 1.
Yeah, none of these guys are really stepping out to me. To me, I go down the list of guys that we might be able to get in the in the 4th and 5th round, and I'm fine with those names pretty close to.
I'll run a Stephon Diggs, Cortland Sutton double.
Yeah. I'm much more okay with that than trying to take an Allen Robinson or a Kenny Golladay right now, which good players, they deserve to be drafted in this range. Not guys that I'm looking at. So let's decide between these running backs. I'm going to give you this one, and then next time we disagree, I'll take it.
No, because I want the next one.
You want? Okay, you got the next one.
No, do Lev. Lev's better.
You want to take Lev?
Yeah.
All right.
Give me Lev.
All right, we took Lev.
See, now we can say on paper that it's Saquon, Lev, and then you can run your risk with Miles Sanders. That sounds a lot better in my head.
Oh, really? Okay.
Sounds a lot better in my head.
Fair enough. All right, let's go through the names. A lot of names go off the board here. Let's go to the top. Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson leave. Juju Smith-Schuster goes. Mike Evans. I'll run on wide receivers. Kenny Golladay, Zach Ertz, A.J. Brown, DJ Moore, who I really like. I think
A.J. Brown in the 3rd.
Yeah, that's high. That's high. Jonathan Taylor here goes to Indianapolis in the 3rd round. That's too high for Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to tell you that right now. Odell Beckham, Cooper Kupp, Leonard Fournette goes in the 4th round. That is ridiculous for a workhorse back, but okay.
It's good value.
Great value. Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley's a workhorse.
He is, but Todd Gurley
just has the injury stuff.
Yeah, Todd Gurley I just don't believe in as much. I'll be totally honest with you. Robert Woods, Keenan Allen, Chris Carson, that's Melvin Gordon, sorry. Mark Andrews, and then Stephon Diggs.
Was Stephon. I would have liked Stephon.
Stephon Diggs would have been fine. All right, so we have 3 running backs. We can't really go running back here. We have to either go wide receiver or tight end. Let's look at tight ends first, see if there's somebody you really love.
I think we can hang tight on Darren Waller for just a second.
Yeah, Darren Waller and Evan Ingram are a tier break for me. I think those are the 2 names, and then it goes down a notch. Maybe a Hunter Henry I'd be fine with. We got to grab a wide receiver. There's a couple names that are pretty obvious to me. What are you thinking?
I know what you're thinking. You want DJ Shark.
I like DJ Shark. He wasn't who I was thinking.
For me, the name that stands out is a Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton.
Got to get Cortland Sutton, and then I think you could double up and get a DK.
To me, Cortland Sutton is one of the best values in the draft right now because in the 4th round, I do believe he's going to be a wide receiver 1 next year. Maybe I'm bold on that, but yeah, I've drafted Cortland Sutton in a lot of leagues for the same reason. I like Cortland Sutton here. I would probably go Cortland Sutton.
Draft him. I'm good with that. And then we can figure out what receiver hangs on.
All right.
There went DK and
Shark. And DJ Shark. Dang. Okay, that does kind of suck. I'm pretty okay with Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett had a great season last year. He's hyper targeted by what's his name. We could go Jarvis Landry. We could Devontae Parker, who you had a draft profile.
I would go Devontae Parker. I like Tyler Lockett a lot because I know I hyped him up whenever we did our division breakdown of the positions. He gets a lot of targets, but Devontae Parker with Tua, man, it might be the move.
Now let me ask you this. Would you want to go tight end now, or do you want to wait on tight end? Because I would wait on tight end.
I think it's our only shot to get Darren Waller if we wanted him.
Yeah, but really, when I look at it, I'm like, man, I see Darren Waller, I see Evan Ingram. The next group, I'm comfortable with.
I'm okay with Austin Hooper. I'm okay with Hayden Hurst.
Exactly.
I think those two guys are going to do really well. And here's a receiver that I'm really big on, and he's lumped in this next tier, kind of at the bottom of it, is Brandon Cooks. I think a lot of people are sleeping on him this year. He gets to go with Deshaun Watson. He gets to be the number one.
Is he still available?
Yes, Brandon Cooks is down there.
He's right here. Yeah,
Brandon Cooks is one of those guys that you can get later on in the 5th, 6th round possibly.
Do we want to wait on him, or do you want to go for him now?
I think he'll wait. I think I would take the chance, and I would let it ride.
All right. So who do you want to go for?
Devontae Parker.
All right, we'll take Devontae.
Do you like that? If you want to go Tyler Lockett instead, that's perfectly fine.
I think Tyler Lockett, I feel like, is going to have a down year this year because DK is going to take over as the number one in my opinion. Devontae Parker, I still think is on the upswing as far as who I would take right now.
Is there anyone else that pops to you? Scary Terry?
To me, Devontae Parker should be going in like the 6th or 7th round though. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
With that, I mean,
Hollywood.
Hollywood really does. Hollywood's the guy for me.
Then go Hollywood. That's fine.
No. Here's the thing. We're drafting our second wide receiver, so we need a guy who can start. Hollywood Brown is a huge question mark. I lean on the side that he's going to have an awesome season this year. Devontae Parker has the clear upside of a number one wide receiver on a team that's probably going to have to pass. I keep talking myself into Devontae Parker. You good with that?
Yeah, like I said, I'll run Devontae Parker. I think he's going to do really good.
Yeah, I mean, and you did the draft profile on that. I think that was a good one. All right, let's see who goes. A lot of names.
James Conner, Tyler Lockett, David Johnson, Scary Terry, Dak. There went Hollywood, Hayden Hurst, Devin Singletary. I really like Devin Singletary. There's Kyler Murray, too.
All right, anybody else? Let's go back. On YouTube, I'm not going to read off every name that went off here, but on YouTube, you can see it right here where we're just kind of scrolling down. Russell Wilson goes 5'12". AJ Green goes 6'1". That's too high, guys. Don't draft AJ Green there. That's too high.
So, and here's where I would like to get Brandon Cooks. He is still there.
Brandon Cooks is still there. So, do you want to go Brandon Cooks tight end? Because Evan Ingram's still on the board for me.
I'll let you pick the tight end, and I want Brandon Cooks.
You want Brandon Cooks here? So we know the two guys we want. Who do we think is going to fall? I think Brandon Cooks is definitely going to fall. Or where's Brandon Cooks here?
Right there.
He's right there.
Yeah, you need to go Evan Ingram first.
And then we take Brandon Cooks.
And then Brandon Cooks will last.
Yeah. Now we got our solid tight end who I love. Don't go Brandon Cooks.
Ooh, Julian Edelman went. They grabbed
Tom Brady. Jesus. And then we are going to take Brandon Cooks.
Do you see the upside with Brandon Cooks?
Oh, of course.
Especially compared to the names alongside Darius Slayton. War Eagle, I like you, but gosh, you're not at that tier.
By
Brandon
no
Cooks
means.
was a Pro Bowler. I mean, he actually led the league in receiving whenever he was with the Saints.
Yeah.
Whenever he blew up.
Yeah.
He's solid.
All right, so let's take a look at our roster here. We have our starting two running backs, Saquon, Miles Sanders, and LeVeon Bell.
That's good.
We have our starting wide receivers, Cortland Sutton, Devontae Parker, and Brandon Cooks. Now we're drafting for depth, and I don't think you and I stick to the don't take a quarterback here. We wait on quarterback. There's just too many names right here. Yeah. I'm okay with any of them. And I'm okay with the next tier, too, the way they have.
Give me
tiers.
a Gardner Minshew or a Kirk Cousins.
I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have a great season. I mean, look, let me ask you this. I would go Carson Wentz if I went quarterback. Who would you go?
I would go Carson Wentz, and then right after that would be Matt Stafford.
Gotcha. All right, so we're in a point. Let's see if we can find some value in the running back position. We'll go here. I think Darius Geis is an awesome value here.
Yeah.
I
bet on him for the past 2 years, and it's burned me, though.
That's true. He's
if
he's healthy.
Injury-wise,
I think J.K. Dobbins is a value here a little bit.
I'm not attracted to him at all in fantasy.
You're not.
I can't figure out who's going to have the workload.
Mark Inger's going to have the workload. I believe
what
in
about
J.K.
Justice Hill?
J.K. Dobbins is going to overtake Justice Hill.
And then what about Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson's supposed to have less rushing yards. Lamar Jackson, the quarterback, and then the head coach for the Ravens have both said that he needs to run the ball less. So there's going to be less designed runs for Lamar Jackson. He'll still be there.
I love J.K. Dobbins, the player. And I think on paper for the Ravens, when you're actually playing these games, it's going to be really good. But fantasy-wise, if you can't get the targets, if you're not getting over 50% of the work, it's really hard to do.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do agree with you. I'm good with
hit wide receiver because we have a bench running back, so we're good there.
Darius Slayton is still there.
I would take a shot on a Jerry Jeudy, but we already have Cortland, so you can't do double off of that.
I think Justin Jefferson is in a better situation than Jerry Jeudy. Mecole Hardman I really like. Curtis Samuel I like. N'Keal Harry I think has a good chance of doing something.
The point being is go get your running backs because there's less of them that have the workload, and there's a lot of good receivers that you can run.
I think this is where we take a chance on Darius Guice because there's some upside of an RB1, RB2 type of guy.
The Washington football team.
Yeah.
All right, we got to wait, don't we?
No, we're at the turn here. We could either go running back again or we could take a wide receiver.
I think Justin Jefferson, like you said, I'm okay. I'm okay with a Jerry Jeudy personally, a Justin Jefferson, Curtis Samuel, or a Mecole. They'll wait.
So let's debate this. I'm Justin Jefferson over Jerry Jeudy. Where do you lie in that?
I'm a Vikings fan. I mean, you think you know where I should go?
No. Well, just for fantasy, we'll take our fanship out of it. I mean, just for fantasy, who do you think produces more?
Justin Jefferson.
You do think Justin Jefferson?
I really do because he is stepping into the role that Stephon Diggs did for our offense.
Yeah, I agree.
It's really good, and I think he has a higher ceiling than Diggs.
I mean, yeah, he has a better quarterback throwing the ball right now. Look, I love Drew Lock, but right now, I mean, we know what
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. I lost the name completely. I want to say Kissing Cousins, which is your name.
That's my fantasy
That's
name.
your fantasy name. All right, so we're going to take Justin Jefferson. We're going to take a shot on him. I really like that rookie. Look, I would suggest to most people, drafting, avoid rookies for the most part because of the whole COVID thing. They're at a huge disadvantage this year. They're a huge disadvantage. But at the same time, I mean, talent is talent no matter where,
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go back, see who got drafted. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it right here. If you're not watching on YouTube, I'm not going to say every single name, but I'll mention the big ones that I noticed. Keyshawn Vaughn, running back for the Bucks.
Why does Carry-On go so low? I know the injuries. I know the DeAndre Swift.
Because he's been hurt in five games for each of the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift got drafted. Look, I love Carry-On Johnson. I truly believe in Carry-On Johnson, the talent.
Carry-On in the 9th round is a good deal.
That's a great deal. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. But yeah, that just is what it is.
There went a lot of the upside. Mecole, Jerry Jeudy, N'Keal Harry. A lot of the upside receivers.
This is where upside it comes in. J.K. Dobbins goes in the 10th round. That's too low for J.K. Dobbins, in my opinion. But that's just me. We saw some quarterbacks go off the board. Aaron Rodgers finally gets drafted.
Of that, go ahead and click on quarterback.
Yeah, let's look at quarterbacks here.
You always want to keep, if you're going to not
Carson Wentz is still there.
And I'm okay with Carson Wentz right here.
Yeah, let's just take Carson Wentz here. That seems too obvious to me.
Team out.
Yeah, that's too obvious to me. Michael Pittman and then Latavius Murray. Okay, so I would never have drafted either of those guys. Philip Lindsay is going to be the scat back for Denver Broncos. Yep. Depends on what you believe in there. Marlon Mack is still a number 1 running back. The fact that he's available in the 3rd round feels ridiculous to me. I would go Marlon Mack. That's just me.
You know in the 11th round.
In the 11th round, excuse me. Look, I know Jonathan Taylor's there. I know people think that he's going to take the starting job completely. He's not. I don't believe he will. It's going to be a running back by committee. Maybe, halfway through the season, even 5-6 games into the season, Marlon Mack gets upended as the true number 1 as far as carry count. But at the end of the day, Marlon Mack is going to get 40-45% of the workload.
Click on wide receiver again, just to check.
And then Jonathan Taylor's probably going to get, the same amount, but still.
So this is where another drop happens. They do a really good job with having it in tiers. I have Brandon Ayuk higher.
I love Brandon Ayuk this
year. Brandon Ayuk's there.
Brandon Ayuk is going to be a starter, but we already got one rookie. Do we want to go another one?
Not right here, at least. I think we need to go back to the
Allen Lazard is a name to keep up with because he's the number 2 wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers.
He is. I'm good without it though. I get
it. I'm just naming names. Paris Campbell is another name. He was a 2nd round pick for the Colts last year. Yep. Very talented player out of Ohio State who got hurt and really didn't get to have a rookie season for the most part. Well, T.Y. Hilton is hurt. There's a lot of other question marks on the wide receiver. I think Paris Campbell has the upside. I'm not saying he's going to be this, but he has the upside of a Keenan Allen type of guy, and we know what Philip Rivers did with Keenan Allen. So I think that's the upside there. Definitely worth talking about. Deshaun Jackson, I could never draft. I'm sorry.
No, I couldn't. I would take a Denzel Mims. That's a good shot in the dark.
Yeah.
Corey Davis is one of those guys right now. It should probably be in the 12th or 13th, but going on a contract year, he is the clear-cut number 2. And he didn't fare well as the 1, but he didn't do terribly bad. He has the talent.
No, I absolutely
he's going to get targets off of that. I think we still need to look back at. I'm okay with Marlon Mack.
I love Marlon Mack here. I really do. Look, if you're listening to the podcast, then you know because I don't even know if you knew this, but I'm about to go through the. I'm about to do the Colts running game as my fantasy football profile of the week, and I am super excited to do that because I think Marlon Mack is a value.
Yeah,
it's huge value in the 11th round.
Do you see some of the names that are not my cup of tea? For Netflix and chill. I like that.
That's a good name, For Netflix and Chill. I like that.
I might use that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a great one, actually. Yeah. Oh,
Acre's gonna fake.
Acre's gonna fake. All right, so here we are. Let's look at the names. Obviously, we're at the turn, so a lot of names just went. Brandon Ayuk gets drafted. Tevin Coleman, who actually, look, Tevin Coleman's a great pick, too. I didn't mention that, but look, we don't know what's going to happen with the 49ers running game because the 49ers don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Every year, I truly believe that going forward, every year, it's going to be a new guy. Mostert came out of nowhere last year.
I would like to remind people that Jerick McKinnon
is still a player.
He was going in the second, third round whenever he first landed at the 49ers and then got hurt. I mean, the buzz is still there.
Exactly. Mike Gesicki, tight end I love, goes in the 11th round. I think that's a great pick. He had an up-and-coming season last year. He's a really good player. I already said Brandon Ayuk. Sammy Watkins goes. Hunter Henry goes. A.J. Dillon goes. Nyheim Hines, the last running back for the Colts, goes. Matt Stafford. Hunter Renfrow goes. Cam Newton. Austin Hooper.
I'm here for Cam Newton.
Good thing we're good on. I mean, like right now we're just taking shots at this point.
Exactly.
We have our team. Let's go through our roster.
I like T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah, no, I do too. Let's go through our roster. Carson Wentz, Saquon Barkley, Miles Sanders, Cortland Sutton, Devontae Parker, Brandon Cooks, Evan Ingram.
That's a good receiving core.
Yeah, that's our great receiving core. And then you go into the bench. We have 4 more bench spots, but the 4 that are filled up right now: LeVeon Bell, Darius Guice, Justin Jefferson, Marlon Mack. I think that's a really good combination of up and coming upside and then a little bit of floor. I think that's a really good.
You gotta
mix.
always mix it if you want 3 running backs that are floor that are gonna get you points because a lot of it goes into matchup based. I mean, Justin Jefferson, he's hitting it off. You know, he's doing really good. But then he's going into an away game at night at Green Bay, locked up with Jair Alexander.
Yeah.
You might not want to do that. You want to have someone who you can always plug and play and run that.
I absolutely agree.
Is it weird that I'm looking at Boston Scott? When you're looking at it from strategy-wise, we have Miles Sanders. You want to get your own handcuffs.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Let's look at the wide receivers first. Miles Boykin's a name I would look at.
Laviska
Shenault still. Oh, we're way down. Paris Campbell still being there is crazy to me. Alan Lazard, I know you don't like him. I really like Alan Lazard. Let's keep going.
I only would like Alan Lazard because he's the number 2 for Green Bay.
John Ross has upside. John Ross has legitimate upside.
I see the upside with the skill set. I also see a very, very, very crowded receiving core.
I get that, but look,
a healthy AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins.
So I posted this on Twitter a couple weeks ago, and you actually, I think, gave me shit for this.
Yeah,
but
a little bit of shit.
You not nothing serious, obviously. But I posted he averaged 8 targets over his first 4 weeks of the season before he got hurt. Had, I believe, over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in that time frame. He played well. He had some point, and granted, you know, a lot of that was garbage time, but that still counts in fantasy.
It does.
I think there's
Blake
definitely
Bortles won me some games a few years ago.
Exactly. I think there's definite upside for John Ross there. Look, I know you don't like him. We'll move on. You mentioned drafting your own handcuffs here. Let's move over here.
It'd be a Boston Scott.
Boston Scott's interesting. I think Darrington Evans has huge upside. Ryan Tannehill came out and said how good he was, and really complimented.
I think it's good for him because you want to save a Derrick Henry. You don't really want to abuse him because you know how much he's going to be doing during the season.
Antonio Gibson for Washington, that would be another handcuff we have. Chase Edmonds, man. Chase Edmonds has huge upside. If Kenyon Drake has never been able to stay healthy, and Chase Edmonds is the next man up there. Look, we're drafting a backup no matter what, essentially. Do you want to go running back or wide receiver here?
I'll let you pick.
All right, let's go.
You can go John Ross. You can go any of them. I'll let you pick.
If it's me on my value, I go John Ross.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And look, if we look at our roster as wide receivers go, I mean, we're going upside.
I think we have a lot of solid starters with Devontae Parker, Cortland, and Brandon Cooks.
3 wide receiver ones that are going to get targets. Let's go get some guys that have upside, that have a possibility of breaking out. Look, and if it doesn't happen,
out of all the names on that list, I really do like John Ross more than most of them. He's up.
I lost him. Where is he?
He's higher. You can go all the way up.
There he is. All right, we're going to take John Ross here. And Jared Goff and Alan Lazard went. All right, so let's take a running back. Who do you want? You let me pick last time.
Listen, I don't like Boston Scott, but I'm obligated to secure your own handcuffs. And it's weird to think, but in a league with COVID right now, where
You're right, yeah.
I mean, seriously, if Miles Sanders isn't a thing, Boston Scott's going in the 3rd or 4th round. Just because he is the RB1 for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, and he played really well down the
stretch last year. That's just how things work.
He did.
I think you're going to have to start securing your own handcuffs. You might have to do it a little earlier, especially if you have someone like...
I clicked it on accident.
That's fine. No, that's fine. If you have someone like Saquon, you're going to have to go look at Dion Lewis. If you have Zeke, you're going to have to look at Tony Pollard. It's just, if you want to win the league...
You got to do it, yeah.
Got to do it.
All right, so these are our last 2 picks. These are just super... I mean, I feel like at this point, you just go upside.
Well, we got to go to backup quarterback, technically.
No, I don't. I mean, and it's
You
a
just
12-team... Yeah, 12-team PPR. All these guys are just going to be on the
True,
the waivers.
that's
yeah.
fine. Just
so
play it.
Yeah, just one quarterback I think is fine. Really one tight end unless you love the upside of one of these guys. I don't really...
I like a Irv Smith for the future.
I think
but
Dawson Knox has a really good chance of breaking out. I really like, I actually do like Will Disley a little bit. David Njoku still being there is a little crazy to me.
just because of you never know where he could land.
Yeah, and I think he's going to stay with the Cleveland. I think he's
Yeah.
actually going to have some production next year. But I'm good on all those guys for the most part. Let's
look
take some
wide
shots.
receiver.
Yeah, let's take some shots.
LaVisca's still out there?
Corey Davis is still out there. I think that's crazy.
Get Corey Davis. He's got a good
Harris
floor.
Campbell should not still be out there. You want LaVisca? Chanel, he's right there. I don't think he gets drafted, though, to be totally honest with you.
That's very fair. I
Miles
could see that.
Boykin's another name for Baltimore that people should know. I'm just saying. All right, but let's take. Who do you want? Corey Davis?
I would actually go Paris just because T.Y. Hilton being on the PUP list kind of gives it with a hamstring. That's what kind of sidelined him last year.
Yeah.
It's a thing that if it sidelines him, Phillip Rivers might throw to him.
Paris Campbell, and then let's see if we can get both of them. You want to take Corey Davis too? Just
Run
take some
it.
shots on wide receiver.
Let's
Are we
do it.
good?
Yeah.
That's it. I think we're done. And that is our draft. All right, guys. We got an 85 out of 100. That is totally fair. Because,
That's not bad.
Yeah,
That's a B.
That's a B.
That was me in high
we
school.
shoot for B's in this,
That's me
on
in
this
high
strip
school,
podcast.
yeah.
All right, so let us know what you guys think. Our draft, Carson Wentz is our starting quarterback. We have Saquon Barkley. We have Miles Sanders. We also have a Le'Veon Bell that we might start over Miles Sanders at times. We have Cortland Sutton, Devontae Parker, Brandon Cooks, all guys with high upside, which we came into this league looking for. Evan Ingram, who I believe can be a top 5 tight end this year. And then you look at our bench, we have Darius Gaius with insane upside. We have Justin Jefferson with insane upside. And Marlon Mack with a pretty good floor that I do believe in. Look, some people don't. I do. I thought it was just kind of a value pick in my opinion. We have John Ross with insane upside in my opinion. He has a chance to break out. I already mentioned he had a great start to the season until he got hurt. He has a chance to break out. I believe that. Boston Scott, we got our own handcuff with Miles Sanders. We have a Harris Campbell who I believe has a chance. To do something this year. I was really high on him last season.
He was so quiet last year. In fact,
he was just hurt.
Most of the receivers that came out
were quiet for the most part.
Arcega-Whiteside, Isabella. I mean, there was a lot of names that were there
in the second round that just didn't do a whole lot. Yeah, and then Corey Davis to finish it off. Corey Davis in a contract year with Tennessee no longer has to be the wide receiver 1. Has a chance to prove that he can be a little bit more than what he was last season. Guys, I think we're done. That's it. Anything else you want to say about this draft?
No.
You're good?
I like it a lot. I think it's good. I really like the Saquon and Lev. I'm really high on Lev.
Anything you would have done differently? Let's go there first.
Differently, I mean,
let's look at who we drafted and where we could have gone.
I was worried about, and I like how you can technically go back and redo too.
Yeah.
I was worried about our wide receivers because we don't have a big dog. Like, you don't have the Tyreek, you don't have the Julio, you don't have the D-Hops.
But here's the thing. That's really hard to do when you're in this spot. When you're at the 2 spot,
you got to get Saquon. You're force-fed Saquon.
You lose a Michael Thomas. You lose a DeAndre Hopkins. You lose Devontae Adams, Julio, Tyreek.
If you pick in the middle, from I would say 4 to 9, you have that luxury.
After we picked Miles Sanders and Le'Veon Bell, the wide receivers that went were Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Mike Evans, and Kenny Galladay. All went in a row. Those were all back-to-back. Then Zach Ertz and then A.J. Brown and DJ Moore. All those guys were an option for us at that Le'Veon Bell or Miles Sanders spot. None of those guys just scream out better than a Devontae Parker or Cortland Sutton to me.
As far as I like Mike Evans.
Mike Evans does. Yeah. I take that back. Mike Evans does. I get that one. But other than that, man, I think Cortland's. Look, I'm high. We're both very high on Cortland Sutton, so maybe we're a little bit skewed there.
That's the thing, is that me and you are very similar when it comes to a lot of this stuff.
I mean, look, we study this similar stuff. It happens. Devontae Parker, we're in the same kind of boat. We believe that is going to be a really good pick. I think I don't think I would have taken Le'Veon Bell. I'll be honest. I think that's one of the bigger differences.
I can't believe you don't like him.
I like him. I don't know if I get where we're coming from. It was a safe running back pick after taking a Miles Sanders and Saquon.
Leonard Fournette is safer. Yes.
That's who I would have gone.
Safer.
I would have gone Leonard.
He does not have as high of a ceiling as Lev does, though.
Yeah,
especially when it comes to the pass catching.
Listen, and that's so fair. Leonard Fournette went almost a round later, so I mean, it's not like I'm sitting here totally right by any means. I mean, you're totally right. I totally get where you're coming from.
I'm literally running Saquon and Lev in a league.
Yeah, and you got to be comfortable with that. I get that. Getting Evan Ingram in the 6th round, that's a steal, guys. That is a steal. If you can get Evan Ingram in the 6th round of a
Evan Ingram
PPR
and Darren
redraft,
Waller, they can get lumped up in that elite category, and you don't have to pay the price.
And exactly, it's a cheap price. And listen, if you want to wait, if you don't want to even take an Evan Ingram, if you preferred getting, I don't know who went after Evan Ingram.
Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry is one, and who's the other one?
Yeah,
Hayden Hurst.
All those names can go in the 10th, 11th, 12th round maybe, and you're going to get some value. I think Mike Gesicki is a starting tight end for the Dolphins who came on last season. I mean, he was very good last year.
Really good at Penn State whenever he came out.
Really good at Penn State. Yeah, had the measurables, had everything. We got a Darius Geis in the 8th round. That is a steal for a guy who could very well be the starter and be a workhorse. We know the hype he had coming out of college, obviously, and the only thing that stopped him was injuries. It hasn't never been talent. It's never been a conversation about talent. All right, I think we're good. Anywhere else you want to go with this?
No, we're good.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're on the podcast, please leave a comment, leave an iTunes 5-star review, all that good stuff. Download weekly. We really appreciate it. On YouTube, please like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Between Pylons. Do you want to give your Twitter? Do you care?
Thomas J. Waters 18.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Peace out.